XYZ. Am I laggy?
No.
Yeah, you're good.
No, you're perfect.
Couldn't hear a word you said.
Oh damn.
Okay.
I'm fucking with you.
Ba-ba-ba.
God, do you do like the self head shave thing, or do you like go to a barber for that?
Who are we talking to?
The only person. Oh, I mean.
I was about to say we got too many
points. I don't know. We may not be on.
Well, Tom hasn't changed his hair, so we assume he probably learned how to shave it bald. I would assume.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, to Connor. Yeah.
And I think Connor
I'm not sure
probably
Connor
just
can hear
buzzes
us.
it.
Wait, sorry. I was actually curious because I didn't hear the question. What is the question?
Oh,
There's not a lot of hair on this
you-
panel.
Do you like buzz your hair yourself, or do you like go to a barber for the baldy?
Yeah, so I normally try to go to the barber once a month and actually get my hair done. But if I'm dropping $50, I want like hair. You know, I don't just want to buzz. So this was boredom. You know, I was tired of being almost 40 and rubbing my hands through luxurious locks, and I was like, "Fuck this!"
You didn't like the quaff?
I'm going bald. What?
You didn't like the quaff? The quaff was a good look, man.
The quaff is a good look, but you know, there's just like, I want to grow out my hair to have like a Jesus ponytail, but I do not have the patience for it. I just don't.
No.
You know,
You shouldn't have that. I don't want you to have the patience for it either.
Well, no. The shocking part is that you were paying $50. $50 per?
American?
Oh, yeah.
That's like $1,000 Canadian.
That's how much I pay for a
haircut,
cut.
brother.
If you go to,
That is
I go
an average
to Floyd's. I go to Floyd's, which is like a pop punk thousands barbershop or whatever. And yeah, it's like $50 for a beard trim and a hair trim and beard hair and shampoo.
My brother goes to Supercuts and he gets it for like 25, 30. But like, yeah, if I'm going to a barber with a
but
fade and a
Supercuts
whole
is
deal,
for fucking 8-year-olds, man.
Listen, man, he doesn't. He's just going for a cheap cut.
like
Their advertisements say different.
He's not trying to walk out of the
Sometimes
barber
they come in clutch,
$65 deep. That's crazy. You know, it's a little bit rough.
No,
thing I will
listen.
say is-
In this economy, spending $50 on a haircut is crazy. So
That's
I'm
before
with
tip.
your-
You tip your barber, right?
Oh yeah, and then
Well, like,
another
that's
10 or
before
20
tip.
bucks on top. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
$70
I just
cut.
took
Yeah, it's crazy.
The price of the guy.
Oh, $20 tip. Yeah, I'm $5 tip. You
10.
got it.
I'm a tenner.
I'm-
I'm a 10 guy.
I'm with y'all in financial spirit, but you know, if somebody's gonna fuck with my
Sorry.
hair, I want it to look good.
Bam, what did you say about this? It said like 50 was normal, or what did you say?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
50's
50
average.
50's getting pretty. I'm about to say 50's getting pretty close to normal. There, you can probably actually 40's probably normal. 50's probably like you
What the
really like the
fuck?
barber.
Where I'm from, 50, 60's average, man.
Yes, absolutely,
dude, I
There-
remember when I was a kid and it went from $10 to $15, and I was fucking
Bam,
Yeah,
you're in
but you're
Atlanta.
talking
I don't know
about
if
fucking
people are charging. You
Supercuts,
say
man.
you're in
You're-
Georgia.
I'm in Atlanta. I pay 50.
Oh,
but
I don't know
also
where
in
you're
Atlanta.
getting a $40 cut from.
Well, no,
I'm kinda
in
glad
Atlanta,
I
though.
went
Like,
bald
I went like,
listening to this
ooh, like I
conversation.
tried to balance it out. Like there's probably some places that you can still find the 35, and then like I said, I'm in a city, so it's like 50. So I was like average probably evens out somewhere in the 40s.
It's also not a turn and burn haircut shop, you know, like hair cuttery or Supercuts or whatever.
Yeah, you're
they
getting
just
a
they want you
fade
to
or
get in the
something.
chair, they want to chop your head, and they want to kick you out for the next person. A
Supercuts.
barbershop is a place that like they got the razor blades and the shaving cream and the shampoo bins and the head massages and the
Yeah,
they wanna
mint,
talk
you
with
know,
you,
the mint
have
scalp
Like a
rinse
haircut's about an
and-
hour.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna
your
give you
haircut
credit,
is straight
though.
up like sometimes it's 40 minutes.
They wanna
40
waste
minutes
your
is
time.
your-
I can tell that like your shave was intentional because you actually still have a very good hairline for your age. Like it's insane.
Well, and it doesn't take so long because that's actually how long it takes to cut hair. Normally in a barber shop, it takes so long because they want to stop and talk every 5 minutes.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Hey. Some
so-
barbers are good to talk to. Some,
I most barbers. If you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
boys with your barber,
No.
it's a little bit.
I remember I went to a
You know,
barber
my barber's
and
a
like
good guy.
I told him like right off the bat, hey, like I got like a date, right? Like I'm gonna go meet this girl, hot girl. She was like she was South American, or at least she has like South American.
A Colombian
something like
stripper.
that.
Hell
Not
yeah.
a Colombian.
Love
Hell
some.
yeah.
Colombian strippers are actually the
Big
better
boobies.
strippers. I told you,
The
I've
best,
been very
the
clear
best
about this.
strippers.
I've been very clear.
Some
about
would
it. It's
say.
like amazing. Holy crap! But like I would go back to a Colombian strip club. I wouldn't go back to an American strip club. But anyways, No, so I'm like, yeah, I got a date, right? Like I gotta meet this chick, right? And oh my fucking God, did this dude like he had his friend up in there, and they had a whole deep like soul searching conversations you guys were having. I'm like, I'm just like. I know. I was gonna
that's a barber.
Did you know him enough? Like, yo, get to my head. Like, you got to know the guy.
Eventually, I was like, yo, I gotta go. Like, what are you doing? I gotta go.
That's the problem. Yeah, I'm about to say,
did he get you right? Did he get you right though, or was it a bad cut? That's like really what matters.
It was fine, whatever. But like, no.
Prime does very simple cuts. Prime just does
all that time with a cut.
And Prime decided he wasn't going to pay for that shit anymore. So Prime, like. For years, for so many years, I have only done it myself, right? And it could take me like literally 5 minutes, just boom, 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 get it done. The last time I did it actually was not too long ago. It was, I guess, last year. I went to I went on Tim Pool. I got a haircut from a barber, but like it was barely worth it. Like it's barely different from what I do. Right, so like once again, like no, I've saved so much money.
You gotta download the Cut app to get an independent barber. That's what
no, fuck that. No,
independent barber, like an independent journalist.
Barbers are good.
Non-partisan barber. Not one that works at a studio. You get it either their house or your house.
Let me finish my point, then jump in. Like one of the reasons is because I've saved so much money. So much money, so it's like more than like paid for itself. Like I can I usually try to do it every 2 weeks, but I'm lazy, so I don't manage that. So like then it grows in. You guys see that. But like, anyway, I could just get it done whenever I want, at any point in time, right? The Prime Barbershop is open. At any point in time, I get it, right? When I want it, on my schedule. I don't have to make an appointment, right? And then show up just for them to bump me for someone else who's their friend, right? Like, fuck that shit. I don't have to do any of that. Just boom,
I've never been bumped,
boom, 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 shade. It's one of the best decisions. I didn't like this is my first time hearing about this. $50 base minimum? What? When it was 20 last time I was going around, like what the fuck?
Yeah, it used to be about 20, 25, yeah.
Hair plus facial hair, though. To be fair, facial hair plus
missing out.
No,
okay, if you're including facial hair,
I own all clippers as well.
You gotta get the beard lined up and taped up and everything too. It's not just not just the hair.
That makes sense now. Okay, that totally makes. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck, dude? Why would you spend $50 on a buzz?
What are you saying, Bam?
Nah, listen.
I was saying that
I'm just gonna defend the $50 haircut real quick. When you get out of the chair and you fucking feel sharp as shit, and maybe you got an old lady already and she's fucking into it, and or you don't have an old lady and some ladies be checking the cut.
The nice day.
Did you ask for the Hitler stash, or did they do it just on
the Hitler stash? No, that's an at-home modification.
You don't know his old lady. She might be really into Hitler.
That's for specific events.
Yeah, I mean, if her name is Ava,
that's for fun on the internet.
Sorry, will you say Bam? And then Rodell had something to say previously. I want to make sure everyone.
Yeah, we can run through. I was just saying that I don't think you're wrong in that there's oh man, I feel like I can maintain some of this myself, which is true. I also own clippers. I'm not someone who goes to the barbershop and doesn't own clippers. I do both.
It's a lot.
I can if I need to make a because if times is rough, it's I think I can stretch this another week. Yeah, I'll clean it up, the hairline and stuff like that. But there no matter what I do, even barbers will tell you, barbers themselves who've cut their own hair will tell you there's something about someone else in a different perspective. Yeah. You can't cut your hair as well as another person.
I don't care. I don't need it to be as well, right?
Well, you don't get you don't do the extras.
I need it to be
you don't do the extras.
Far cheaper. In fact, free. Right, and I need to be on my schedule, and I need to not have anyone fucking annoying me, right? And I need to, and I don't have to worry about them. I've always hated this, right? But I understand why they do it, right? They put the alcohol on the edge. I'm not sure they do this to white people. They might not do it for white people.
Keep your bumps.
But yeah, white people on. I don't have to worry about that. I just jump in the shower. I don't have to worry about infection or anything like that. Just I take a shower immediately after I do it, right? It's just every part of the experience is far and away better. Far and away better.
It's a part of your vibe though. Like it's a part of like it's one of the highest tiers.
It's not a part of his vibe. It's not a part of his.
But
vibe.
No, it may not be yours. But I'm just saying that like men's self-care is like care. It's putting on a good fit. It's putting on a little smell good.
Good hair and beard is our makeup.
No,
good
dude,
hair and beard is our
hair, cologne. You're on fucking
prefer
point.
like real stuff, not that black inked out thing that pretends that you actually have.
No Beijing, no Beijing.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
It'll do.
Wait, Prime, do you wear cologne?
Like your
Prime, do you wear cologne?
No,
no. Oh fuck no! I'm sorry.
I put deodorant on. That's what I do. Like, and it has like a smell to it. Yeah, but like
me looking at my cologne collection and you just being like, I don't wear cologne.
Life on hard mode intentionally. Like he's putting life on extreme. You don't have to. You raw dog in life.
I'm not. This is so much easier. I don't know what to tell you. It's so much easier.
But I feel so much better.
I don't paper cologne either.
Yeah,
you wear cologne, Dave.
It's like you're playing. It's like we're paying for what is the spellcaster that they do?
I'm Lebanese, man. It's like it's in the blood at this point.
That's fair. But even then, that's it. Like I've had the experience of like even like someone leaving an elevator and the cologne
out there like
just stuck in there.
Oh yeah, that's me. And I got
that's awful.
I got the flyer. I got the seasonal ones. Citrusy for the. Everything has its time and place. I got my picks.
I want to know.
You can't just be wearing whatever whenever.
Is Lacto a cologne person? I'm curious now.
He's a crystal person.
No, not really. Yeah, okay.
No, I use deodorant mostly.
Yeah.
I use deodorant too. Wait, guys. It's not like I use cologne, then I don't use deodorant. I use deodorant.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an either or.
No, because the question is,
I don't understand people.
The answer is, I use deodorant.
Yeah, I don't understand people like Ali who just use cologne and not deodorant.
I smell good as fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know how many women? Like, listen. I'd be married. I'm
Millions.
happy, right? My wife loves the cologne, right? But also, like, just in general, if you're a single man, cologne is the easiest conversation starter. A girl smells you and goes, "You smell good." That's
there's not a better
game
compliment
right
you
there.
can get as a man than you.
But it covers up your natural musk.
There's
Who gives a fuck about your natural musk?
Lacto doesn't want to be. Lacto doesn't want to be
real
fraudulent.
test. I don't want to be fraudulent. The real test is because the pheromones, right? You want to make sure she's attracted to your pheromones.
Wait, why do you wear styled clothes, Lactoid? Why do you wear clothes, Lactoid?
It's illegal to not.
It's fraudulent. No, you can wear basics.
What's the point of
the basics?
To be honest.
What's going on here?
There's no need to shower.
Slow down. Calm down.
I think you might be laggy, Bab, a little bit.
That is true. There's no need to shower. There was somebody who actually calculated like how much money you would save if you just never showered and invested the money instead.
Yeah, was that Asmongold?
Sounds about right.
What did you say right now?
Can you do math?
I said there's
fucking Roach
two
King.
basic compliments
He's right.
that are so easy to get.
Yeah,
having good hair and smelling good. That's like easy things that you can do. Yeah, it might cost extra money, but you like those compliments.
Barely. Cologne's not
but doesn't. But wouldn't you prefer like somebody like a woman that you meet see you at your worst first, so that you know that like when you actually put effort in, then she's gonna be like stunned.
The woman I can get at my worst, and the woman I can get at my best.
Do you want to see your woman?
Lacto's hitting them low bars. Lacto likes to set the bar low so he can over.
No, I actually would like to see her at her worst because then I know like what. That's the
no.
Right?
You'll be seeing at your
worst.
worst.
The guys have been saying forever. Take her to the water park. Exactly.
Yeah. I want to see her at her worst. I don't want to see the fake version. I want to see like the actual version. Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm actually like investing in. Like, yeah. 100%.
The real her, exactly.
The real her.
Y'all are so
not even the worst. I'm sorry. Like, the real her. That's the better way of putting it. Yeah.
I like the way cologne smells
good
too.
Is the real you?
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. There's also like I like the way cologne smells as well.
I don't smell citrusy. Like I don't.
I mean, you don't smell.
I prefer perfume as a smell. I think that women's like perfume attracts me. Like it does work. I think I like the smell of women's deodorant.
I don't care about that.
I don't wear.
Yeah,
I do wear women's deodorant, but I wear men's cologne.
Why?
Do you think there's a perfume out there that like will turn an unattractive woman attractive to you?
I think smelling. I'm about to say
no, but I think smelling bad.
If I hug into some girl,
that's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. Yeah. Like I agree that like smelling bad is generally whatever that means can be off-putting, generally speaking.
Yeah, smelling nice is going to be an appeal.
There's difference between like it's almost framing as like perfume will make someone attractive, or like I'm in the absence of perfume, they are unattractive.
I would say it adds, right? Like when my wife's looking good and then she has the right scent on, I mean, it fucking definitely helps when you look good, smell good, everything is like 10/10. Yeah, of course.
But then
if I go in for it,
I said it adds,
like there's a girl that I'm not gonna say she's gonna be like butt ugly, but there's like people that are neutral, and then you go in for the hug and you get a smell, and I come back and I gotta take a second look, like, you smell good. Like I always tell them, and that's like.
But I think what Prime's question is that going to be like the deal breaker? Like, are you going to go for a woman that you otherwise wouldn't just because she smells good?
Yeah,
that was
pheromones.
I would think twice if she smells
it's like
bad.
It doesn't bring a zero.
I understand the confusion,
but it can make a difference between no interest and interest. Yeah, it's happened before.
Because I think that like
I didn't think of it that way.
I was like kind of being a little bit tongue in cheek about the pheromones thing, but like I actually have had an experience where like I don't know, one woman's sweat kind of smells good, and then you're like, okay, I'm probably meant to be with this person, and then like another woman is like, ugh, and it's like that's not gonna work out. Right? It's like an early warning sign.
No. That's actually like legit. That's absolutely legit shit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actual like studies on this that the closer related you are to somebody, the more likely you are to be like disgusted by their scent in their
that makes sense.
Sweat and crap like
that. I thought you were gonna say
like their BO is not attractive to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you know, I think like almost every girlfriend I've had, like literally, if I lay down like after a long day of work and like put my arm around them, they will literally like sniff my fucking armpits like it's cologne or some shit. So
yeah, I guess so.
I think that is common.
They like the smell of a working man, is what that is.
Hey man,
I mean, I hear that. I don't do it because I'm a big sweater. I always like watch before I get close to my girl. But I'm a sniffer though. I love through all five senses.
You're not a sweater. Sorry, you're a sweater, not a sniffer. Is that what it is?
He's a sniffer, not a sweater.
No, you said he's a big sweater.
He's both.
I do.
He covers up. He showers up and he puts the secret on. You know.
Yeah, but I don't mind women smells. But like, but I like.
Yeah, I'm not much of
a are we going to talk about how to smell good for women all night? I mean, like, I don't have a problem with it necessarily. I'm just saying.
You're right.
We're talking about how Iranians.
I'm actually ready. We have a really interesting conversation.
I want to say one thing before we get started. House of Dragon season 3. Holy shit, people! Have you seen the first episode?
Has it started?
That was wow. Of course, there'll be no spoilers here.
I heard Supergirl comes in.
Speaking of incest, right? Like, what the? So, would you say, Tom?
I heard Supergirl comes and fights the dragons.
No, no. Supergirl's long gone. She's not part of it. But like, but yeah, it's great. It's like that was the thing is right. So, in case you guys don't know that, like HBO, like cut the funding and like ordered like less episodes of season 2 than like season 1, but like they had already started working on it, like they had already planned everything, started literally working on the final episodes, and so like season 3 episode 1 right is literally what's supposed to be the season finale of season 2, right? And it's a fucking banger. Like it's a banger, guys. Like check it. It like looks like a season finale, right? Like it just like looks like that. Not a season premiere.
Good.
But yeah, check it out. You won't regret it. Fantastic. Oh my god, you got me hype.
Don't like it.
It's a good thing I told you about it last week. That was coming back on.
It's a good thing you told me. I guess good thing you told me about it. Yeah, fair enough.
I wait for the season to be over and then I watch.
Binge it, yeah.
Ooh,
this whole
one of those people.
This whole like weekly release shit is for the fucking birds. I hate it. It's so dumb. It's so unnecessary.
Good luck avoiding spoilers.
Before Netflix, that's how all TV worked. You used to have to wait a week.
Yeah, and I hated how old TV worked. That's why I pay for the premium. That's why I pay for the Netflix, so I don't have the ads because I didn't like how old TV worked. And if I didn't see the show, oh my god, it was annoying. Like no, is it just release the show as intended, which is let me binge the fuck out of this show, and then we can go home. That's it. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
This whole dragging it out for 3 months and then like every season takes 2 years to come out now. It's unnecessary.
I agree.
Yeah,
like,
I'm rewatching The Wire right now.
Oh.
Like my girlfriend
man.
hasn't seen The Wire, so we're rewatching The Wire right now. And then
Have you seen Snowfall? Snowfall's fucking. Snowfall's a good one.
Snowfall.
I watched a little bit of it. I never.
Snowfall's
actually-
a
I didn't think you were a Snowfall guy.
Me?
Yeah, I didn't think you were a Snowfall guy. Fantastic.
I loved it. No, I said years, like 2 years ago, on the Reverie, I was talking about like how I was watching Snowfall because it's amazing. I like it was. Yeah, I mean, like it showed up in the algorithm, and I started watching. That was amazing, and it ended strong too. Actually, ended really strong, right? Usually, like shows fall flat in the face. Snowfall actually ends, I think, in a near perfect way.
Spinoffs coming later.
FX has really good shows.
Oh yes, it does absolutely.
Yeah,
the best one, I love The Shield, right? In case you haven't, it's an older show, right? Go back and watch The Shield. It's crazy. Connor, you got to back me up, right? You must have watched The Shield.
See, I haven't watched The Shield, but I'm very familiar with it's Michael Chiklis, isn't it? Isn't that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. And like there is like a really cool clip that I saw of The Shield where he's kind of like going into like a gangbanger hideout. And so he wants to take his gun with him because he knows he's going into the dangerous territory. But the gangers don't want to let him in with it. So he pops out his magazine and hands his magazine to the banger, but he still has one in the pipe. And so he basically goes in there and he holds, and the gang leader's like, he didn't take his fucking gun. And he's like, he didn't have a clip. It's like, yeah, I still have one in the pipe. And I'm pretty sure he puts it like at his dick. And he like he holds the gangbanger hostage by threatening to blow his dick off. And I was like, you know what? That's some creative writing. That's interesting. That is interesting.
My friend, the whole show is like that. The whole show is just banger after big moments just like that. Guys, and no one listens to me, right? It's available on fucking Hulu. You can find it. It's easy, right? Or it's probably on YouTube. You can probably like find it on YouTube. Guys, The Shield, like legendary. Literally, like they credit it. People who like know these things credit it for like changing like cable TV. Because before that, like unless you're on HBO like premium cable TV, right? If you're on basic cable, like the shows were not expected to be good, right? And then The Shield came out and like won a bunch of awards, and it like changed the game. Holy shit, it's so good, guys! Check out The Shield. You're gonna ignore me. I know everyone.
What network was The Shield?
It's a corrupt cop show from the thousands.
Yeah.
Wait, no. What network was it?
I think wasn't it FX?
It was FX.
I was gonna say I thought it was FX. Because the ones like
you said, FX does good shows, and then he went off into that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like to me like I think Sons of Anarchy was kind of like the thing
that's a good one
to me changed like TV shows like that was, and that's also FX. Like
that came after.
Wilfred. A lot of FX. So Wilfred was also FX. That was pretty fucking good. I mean, it's not in the same caliber of the shows we're talking about.
Are you saying Wilfred, the Elijah Wood TV show where he's best friends with a fucking dog or something?
Yeah. It's not in the same like vein of TV shows we're talking about, but like it was
but it's like surreal.
Show. Yeah, amazing show.
Yeah.
FX does good shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
like I say my last rep, we're moving on, but yeah, my last rep for Atlanta though. Atlanta is the best. It is the best show I've ever seen in my life. Most creative by far.
Atlanta was good. Atlanta was good.
But yeah,
check very good show.
Yeah, check it
Shout
out.
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. I mean, pretty good.
Hell
yeah!
You
guys talking about too much live action.
In the conversation.
No, it's fair. I mean, I love anime, so it's fine. I was just surprised. I know we were going there, but no, it's fine. Attack on Titan's always welcome. Okay. But anyway, yeah, guys, I appreciate you all being here. Let's get started. Okay. The U.S. and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding, which is a temporary agreement designed to allow negotiations for a permanent ceasefire. The MOU is fiercely controversial due to its terms. Iran will get $300 billion in restitution from the Gulf states, $25 billion in unfrozen assets, removal of the U.S. naval blockade, the lifting of all sanctions, and an end to hostilities in Lebanon.
Hell yeah!
Hopefully, yeah. In return, Iran will negotiate the end of its nuclear program. Some are saying this is overly generous. Others are saying that it looks like American surrender. Israel, in particular, has made it clear that its government is not in support of the deal if they weren't a signatory, and has taken steps to sabotage the deal with subsequent attacks against Lebanese territory. Are you in support of the deal? Do you think this was a fair exchange? If not, how would you prefer this conflict to be resolved? So yeah, this this has like this deal has like caused like earthquakes, like political earthquakes, mostly on the right, I think, honestly. But I mean, in terms of like the Democratic Party establishment, they don't like it because they're Israel firsts as well. The total Zionists, so like they also want the war to continue. But like talking about like ignoring the political establishment for a second, right? But like, you know, among the base, yes, this is fiercely controversial, right? Even if you're maybe not for the war, right? Maybe people don't want us to exit the war in this particular way. But yeah, so I want to like hear people's opinions all on that. I think a lot of us actually going to agree on our opinions of the deal. I think there's going to be a lot of consensus on that. But even still, I want to have a larger conversation on like the Iran war, of us, like, why did we get into it? How should we stay longer, right? Like, was it now that we were in it, how should it have been prosecuted, right? And how would you resolve it? So like, even if we agree like on our feelings on the deal, because there might be a lot of that, right? Let's have a larger conversation beyond that. So start my friend Lactoid.
Yeah, I'm Lactoid. You can find me at Lactoid TV on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I just want to say that this deal that Trump made as the deal maker is incredible. It is a victory upon victories. Trump is the first president in all of American history to bring back the JCPOA. No other president could bring it back. No other president could bring it back. Biden couldn't do it, but Trump did. Yeah, I don't know what you want from me. It fucking sucks. This horrible. Everything sucks. I'm more vindicated in my hatred of the decision to go to war in Iran in the first place, because what we got just appears to be.
Still love your vote.
Okay with my vote, maybe. Anyway. Yeah, terrible. Where do we go from here? I'm happy the war is over. That's pretty cool. Or hopefully it's over. We'll see. We'll
count your chickens, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm trying. I don't know what you want from me, dude.
Trying to defend Trump is hard, man.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It should have been better. I would. Yeah, the whole we're gonna give you a bunch of shit and then we're gonna make a deal later. Come on, like we should have had something in place when we're gonna start handing over the money. We should have had something like some kind of, hey, you know, you're never gonna be able to get enriched uranium. Maybe, okay, now we're starting to talk, right? But this whole sort of, you know, we'll have a conversation on the shit that actually matters, and in the meantime, we'll give you everything that you want. I think that this demonstrates that the Iranians. I think this is part of the benefit of being a fanatical theocracy, which is they are willing to die over just holding the line. And I think we ran into that with the Taliban. I think we're running into it with Iran. And I think it's a lesson that unfortunately we needed again so soon after Afghanistan, that maybe we shouldn't do shit like this. So that's my take.
Okay, 1 second, guys. Pause. Sorry, guys, for I didn't see this. This is the blast super chat pass. I didn't see the super chats immediately. Okay, all right. So let me just get these out there. $2 from my listening library says, "Yo, Tom, hello. Thank you for that, and shout out to we're happy to have Tom here. I've missed him myself. And then $2 from Sup Nerd Hope. You doing good? You Nork. I'm not sure who they're talking to.
Nice. You Nork. That's a good name.
Are they talking to me? Am I the dork?
I would assume it's your channel. Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. But
maybe they meant to donate to some other channel. Just accidental super chat.
It could be. Yeah, it happens. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. And then our good friend Doobie sent $20. Says all grown men should have an extensive collection of cologne for different occasions, temperatures, seasons, etc.
That's my fellow brown boy right there.
We're kind of dragging.
That's my fellow brown boy right there. Brown boys know what's up.
A collection is crazy.
Cologne
A collection.
I have an extensive. Listen, right now I have maybe like 17 like colognes. Just like chilling.
We need to calm down at that.
Listen, dog. I'm Middle Eastern.
Dude, he's from the Middle East. It's fine.
This is
better
my
than the
vibe,
opposite problem.
Yeah. I listen. That or bombs. You guys pick.
Middle Easterns.
You know, I think.
Have you ever smelled a fully pheromoned up Turkish guy? It's a little tough.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
We're gonna ignore that one.
Yeah. Doobie, I disagree. Friend, grown men, extensive. First of all, Doobie.
I mean, you could disagree. You'd be wrong, though. That's the only issue.
But Doobie. First of all, Doobie is like very wealthy, and so he can have an extensive collection of anything he wants, right?
Except there are inexpensive colognes. You don't have to buy expensive
except for
colognes.
like mega yachts, right? Other than that, like he's not that rich. But like he can have So I have an extensive collection of like cheap colognes.
Like, it's not cheap; they're just inexpensive. Like, not everything has to be expensive for it to be like worth it.
I don't, or just like no, I can just put on deodorant. Okay. I don't know how that like all grown men. All right, again, I'm not arguing with you so much. I'm arguing with Doobie.
Well, I agree with Doobie, and I'm defending that super chat.
Okay,
we have the same position, so you pretty much are.
I just don't see the need. If like one cologne you have smells good, what's the point of using other ones?
I'll answer wait. So like no. So there's seasonal, right? Because like I have like sweet colognes. You can't wear those in the summer. You're smelling sticky. It just doesn't go. So you got to wear like citrusy, maybe grapefruit, something a little bit more chill. And then you have like office colognes. There are certain colognes you know too overpowering. You can't wear them in the office. Certain colognes you can wear to the gym. Certain colognes you wear out. You know, there's date night colognes. There's just regular colognes, just on a regular day out. Like there's your dailies. There's your special events. There's different scents for different occasions, man. Scent is one of your 5 senses. This is a big embrace, right?
Yeah,
flowers is the whole thing. I mean, sure. In a world with beautiful fragrances, the Old Spice is what we should be aspiring to. Correct.
I don't know if Ali has like ever been so disappointed in me.
Listen, I'm the kind of like I sprayed cologne before I came and sat down here. Like I like cologne.
Okay, I mean,
I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah, that's fair, right? Like if it's something that a person like, I can't criticize a person for liking the things they like, right? My problem is with Doobie saying all grown men should. It'll
change your life once you do. It'll change your life. You get 3 different scents. It'll change your life. Go bam.
Go ahead. Oh no. Actually, no. I have a
you guys remove Doobie. Okay.
From Doobie, $20 says if you don't want to splurge, you can get expensive colognes with something like Decant X.
Yeah.
You can get small sizes to try them out before you settle on the ones you like.
True.
But like why? But I get the sample size. Okay, right? Yes, it'd be nice to have some samples and whatever, right? But like again, what you're asking me, Doobie, you're asking me to like come up with a collection, right? And like do what our friend Ali was doing, right? And have different scents for different times. Like, but why? Like you have deodorant. I mean, if you want to be a fancy guy, right, a fancy lad, then you're free too.
You can listen. Small bottles, you can find these at Burlington, TJ Maxx. These are 20.
Are we here to talk about killing Iranians or what?
Here's your $300 bottle. You don't have to buy these, and then you can buy your little $40, $50, $70 bottles. These are good, man.
If I wanted to get advice about how to smell good from brown and black men, I would go to my local mall. I'm ready for geopolitics.
And we will.
Connor, if you ever need advice, holler at me. I got you.
Yeah, just came in.
And my chat.
I'm going to drag this as long as Doobie gives him money. Sorry, lock in.
I will do that. 100%. That's exactly what's happening. Doobie says, don't buy inexpensive colognes. Might
Not
as well
true.
just buy Axe at that point. Oh, yeah, we want to avoid that. Fuck that shit. Just be smart about it, okay? Americans smelled better. If Americans smelled better, we wouldn't have been totally ruined by Iran. Connor. Yeah, Connor.
What?
If Americans smelled better, we wouldn't have been totally military ruined by Iran. This is because of the lack of masculinity, right? Like men aren't men.
We need more perfume for masculinity.
More perfume for masculinity. Thank you, DB, for the kind.
If men smelled better, they'd have more women.
Really
they'd fight harder in war, right? Because they'd have something to fight for. Men don't have anything to fight for anymore, guys. That's really the issue. And then the cologne helps.
Hey, do you have a war cologne where you go out on the battlefield?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Amouage Outlands, 100%. You spray that for war.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Oh my God.
So let's go to our friend Bam again. Thank you, DB, for being so kind and helping us out. Really appreciate it.
So jumping back in, everything related to this war has been a disaster, but it's more complicated than that. I believe that it obviously this all starts back to the destruction of the JCPOA. There's people who wouldn't defend that deal when this deal is literally 300 times worse, like numerically worse in the amount of money we're giving to Iran. I like even the talking points against the JCPOA are just repeating things that Trump said that aren't demonstrated. They said that, like, if you ask somebody what was the problem with the JCPOA, they use the exact same phrase. They say it sets up Iran to get a nuclear weapon, and then you say, what do you mean by that? And they don't know what they mean by that. It's just a Trump quote. We know that they were holding to enrichment levels of about 3%, which I think is normal enough to do like power plants and things like that. I think that the expectations for this deal were never going to be perfect. Like, I don't think that Iran has to have 0% enriched uranium. I don't think that was a reasonable expectation to begin with. Like, it's better for the environment, it's better for the world, for everyone to get onto nuclear. It's just, like I said, having limits and having a review. This memorandum of understanding does none of that. But I'll be fair in that the adult in the room did realize that, like, oh, wait a minute, we can't just do this. Like, the global oil reserves are about to actually run out. So we were put into a position where we did have to sort of bend over and take it. We had to take whatever deal we can for now to get the strait open, so that hopefully we can refuel the reserves and get to a point where we do something else about it. Like, they talk about, like, this being the setup for the deal. That was never going to be the case. This is like, the idea of the deal has been what Trump's done his entire term. He did this with the UK, like on his first 90 deals in 90 days. He did a setup for a deal with them. He did a setup for a deal with China. He did a setup for a deal ending the Israel-Gaza war. None of these deals actually made it to step 2. Like, he does the like TV the TV thing. He waves his hand, and then he gets bored with it and he moves on, and no one talks about that. None of these things actually get worked out anymore past that. It's an unfortunate reality. It looks like the Iran's, well, I think they already had an idea, like, but I think they're learning now. They're like, oh, we actually don't need nuclear power. We can shut down the global oil reserves anytime we want to. And as soon as they shook their hand, they was like, you know what? We're going to do it because Trump went on TV and admitted how low the oil reserves were. And they're saying, they're like, hey, maybe if we do this, we can make Israel stop for a little while. Like, maybe they can't stop them completely, but the U.S. can put enough pressure on them to stop them from attacking the Houthis. And yeah, they've got us right now. We don't have a good way out of it. We've tried bombing them. All we can do now is commit war crimes and bomb civilians and bomb like civilian bridges and try to squeeze them that way. But there's not a good solution.
Thank you so much. Let's go to our friend Corey.
Well, I guess maybe in a somewhat rare occurrence, I agree mostly with Lactoid, where I don't see how this is anything other than a loss, although it's never going to be framed that way, especially by Republicans or Trump. Although I don't see why they shouldn't get even $400 or $500 billion in restitution. Why not just like up the number? But all that to say is like, am I in support of this deal? My answer is, I mean, I guess yes, in the sense that if it stops the war or the excursion, great, since it never should have happened to begin with. But I don't know how you can square this or how any of the real objectives have been achieved. Although I don't think it was ever really explicitly made clear like what the objectives are. Either, you know, regime change, free the Iranian people, ensuring that they don't get a nuclear weapon. Like, I don't think this memorandum of understanding even addresses that, and then just like kicks the can down the road. I think arguably probably would have been better if like just the U.S. just withdrew overnight and just like, you know, washed their hands of it. But then I think everyone would realize that is a clear loss. Okay, but they have to try to spin this into like some sort of win, or yeah, we have a memorandum of understanding that we will do something, which will probably end up being we will do nothing. And so all I have to say is like, is it good that if this results in overall the war ending? Good. But I don't see how this is a win for the United States. And I think this is, let's say, a fair exchange for Iran. And if anything, not that I'm a foreign policy or geopolitical expert, but from what I can tell or gather is that, like, if anything, this like further emboldens Iran. Of like, they recognize, as in they have a clear button they can push anytime that they want that punishes the entire world. Okay, they didn't know that before, and they know it now. I don't see how, like, yeah, this puts the U.S. in a position, in a better position moving forward. And I will leave it there for now.
Thank you so much. Let's go to our friend Ali.
I just want to be clear. I'm not a supporter of the Ayatollah or the IRGC. I think that shit's fucked up. Again, I think giving them $300 billion is fucking insane. All right, they're gonna do shit. However, it's gonna support all the causes I like. Right, you're gonna fight against Israel. Give them the money to fight against Israel. I'm down. I'm all for it. Let's go. However, this is just them having us by the nuts. And I mean, like, we've been in the Middle East for 70, 80, however long, since the 50s, going around trying to do a regime change, trying to change shit up, trying to have control of it. And we don't. We backed the wrong players. We thought we had support with people in Israel. And even Trump now is like semi-losing the support that we have with Israel. And I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, I think the Iran closed the strait recently, because they're not just going to capitulate, because Israel isn't just going to stop bombing and trying to take over the south of Lebanon. They're just not going to start doing it. And America's in a tight spot, because Trump is either going to completely give in to all the assets that the Iranian needs, because we need to open the strait, or we're just going to go in and, to Bam's point, just start doing war crimes and bombing everyone, bombing civilians. And I don't know if the American government can hold off the people. The support of the people is going to like dwindle more and more, and it's going to get to the point of riots. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens here, but I don't think this is resolved. We're nowhere near resolved.
Thank you so much. Let's go to our newer friend, Riddell.
I mean, this is one of those situations where, I mean, I don't have to say much that hasn't already been said. Obviously, this is a bad deal. That's very clear. I think a lot of people understand that from both sides of the aisle. I think the interesting thing about this conversation is, will a lot of these Republicans kind of coincide with what they've been saying the entire time for the last couple of years regarding their biggest criticisms on how things were handled in regards to Iran? Will they keep the energy with like, hey, we're going into this war to ensure they don't get nukes? Oh, then we did a deal and we didn't confirm anything regarding nukes. Will they keep that energy? Will they keep the energy about, you know what, we can't give money to Iran. That's not okay. That's obviously bad. And then we're about to give money to Iran. Will they keep the same energy? Well, for the people who hate Israel, go like, hey, we don't like Israel. And in this situation where we had a deal put in place and we are supposed to like have a ceasefire, the stuff with Israel and Lebanon and Hezbollah, it just allowed Iran to close the strait again. Do we actually have control, or does Israel have control? Who's in charge? There are so many things here that can potentially provide more of a split that already currently exists regarding the MAGA coalition. So we'll see how that in particular plays out. And I'm all for it because I want MAGA to be gone. So that's probably the most interesting part of this entire conversation. How will MAGA survive all of this? Because the only reason why they did the deal, in addition to the oil stuff, is because they're trying to save face as best as possible for the upcoming midterms.
Thank you so much. Let's go to our friend Connor. Very happy to have him here. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Connor.
Hello.
To me?
Yeah, to you.
He changed it. No longer Connor.
I heard Connor, not counterpoints, and I was like, is he talking about?
I'm sorry.
So no. So I think I would be repeating what everybody said. So I would say the primary thing is like, I would love to see Admiral Gibbs spin this. That'd be quite funny, actually. But
he will.
The point is that, like, we got 60 days till the oil reserve is depleted. We are fucked, and Trump fucked us. You know? So like, I don't understand how you could see the Epstein files, how you could see this and just be like, oh yeah, everything, everything's good. Everything's Gucci. No, Trump sucks. He was a grifter. He lied to you. He enriched himself. It's just over. It's fucking over. And anybody simping for Trump at this point is a fucking dipshit.
Let's go to our friend, another person we're happy to have back, our friend Tom.
Yeah, the deal is absolutely atrocious. Like, there literally isn't a single good thing about this outside of the fact that it just completely proved liberals right, that Obama got an amazing fucking deal. I think this deal would have been acceptable in 2014 if we didn't have the JCPOA to compare it to and say, damn, you absolutely got fucked. Currently, Republicans do seem to be critical of the deal. Already we've had Bill Cassidy, Roger Wicker, Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, Lindsey Graham, Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, John Thune, Deb Fisher, like all Republicans pretty much across the board have been critical of this deal because they're upset that they're going to release sanctions again, which JD Vance 2 nights ago said that who was it? Jared Kushner had the bright idea to make sure that when they release sanctions, they're going to keep an eye on it and decide when they can or can't use it. And they're only going to allow Iran to take the money out of these accounts for humanitarian needs. Isn't that such a brilliant fucking idea? It's literally what was part of the JCPOA. It's literally what was part of Biden's money that he gave over to them. And it's just a lot more money now. I mean, at this point, Obama gave $1.7 billion, I believe. Biden gave a good bit more than that, but both of them were held by Qatar and South Korea, where they could only use the money for humanitarian aid, and now the $300 billion that goes into reconstruction and the aid here, it's a lot of this is actually going to make a big difference. A lot of the Republicans before with the JCPOA, they kept saying that Iran was going to use this money for their ballistic missiles, for their nuclear program, that they were using this money to send money to Hamas. Not only was this already restricted to where they couldn't use it for those things, but it also didn't relieve more money for them to send to Hamas either, because they never used any of it. They never took any of the money out. There was never a point where they used any of the pallets of cash that were sent over to Qatar, or and it was never, the money in South Korea was never used either. There literally isn't a single thing through this that is good, and the Trump administration has now cost the American taxpayers over $1 trillion, not just between how much money they had to pay for, bombs and missiles and rockets and drones and all that shit, aircrafts and military, what do you call it? Military bases that have been blown up. Like we've over $1 trillion in that, and now the extra money that has also been cost to the Americans with oil, gas, food, things like that. So this has literally been another obvious and blatant reason to impeach this motherfucker. So.
Okay. 2 things. I'll go to you, Bam. You'll be first. One, thank you for Vazar Raka for gifting a Counterpoints, a membership to the channel. Much appreciated. Thank you for the kindness. We rarely get gifted memberships here, so we appreciate that. That's really, really kind of you. But I'll give you my opinion, right? And Larry Toad has heard me say something similar in the past, so he won't be too surprised. All right. This is a fantastic deal. It's a fantastic deal. We love it. We love this because it helps bring sanity back to U.S. foreign relations in the Middle East, right? And hopefully in general. Yeah, the U.S. need to be humiliated because the U.S. thought that there were no limits to its imperial powers. There's a limit right here. We found it, right? This
don't make that claim. We don't know. Yeah. I would not put anything past this administration.
No, I'm saying it's a ability to win this war.
Sure,
yeah,
that I agree.
Yeah. We found it. No, I would agree. Afghanistan, we lost Afghanistan. We absolutely lost it. Thank you for gifting 5 counterpoints. Politics memberships. That's
thank you, Batasui.
And yours. Okay.
I think you're getting gifted his memberships to his stream from his people.
1 counterpoints. These are this wasn't to you. This was
no, they're to you
because of StreamYard. No, they're not to me.
He's sharing the stream.
Yeah,
they're sharing the audience because it's streaming together on StreamYard.
Yeah. Sorry, I just. Okay. Well, anyway,
he retracts all his thanks.
Every single one. Thank you for supporting our friend Connor. Anyway,
fuck my audience.
I didn't say that. Sorry. Back to this. Yeah. So we absolutely need to understand the limits of our power, and to be fair, right? No other president was stupid enough to do this. Only Trump, right? Only Donald Trump was dumb enough to be led by Israel into this disastrous war. Obama pulled off a foreign policy coup, with the JCPOA, right? With the Iran nuclear deal. It was amazing. Iran, first of all, they had been making overtures to about their nuclear program for years beforehand. Right.
Well, if you're worried we're not going to fight, I can start simping for the CIA whenever you want me to.
Fantastic. I'd love to hear it. But for years they had been making overtures, right? As to trying to get pull back into the united global world, right? They wanted to be re-enter society, and they had been trying to make that happen, but they didn't have a partner. They shouldn't have a partner in George W. Bush, right? But when Obama came in, they're like, okay, this is our shot, right? Obama made overtures to them. They made overtures back. They got rid of Ahmadinejad, right? As their president, they sought a new guy, a moderate, and it actually it was years of planning, and lots of experts came together to make that deal. That deal was hundreds of pages long, right? Just whole sections of it were I think the accountability section was 150 pages long. It was crazy. A hell of a deal. A hell of a deal he created, right? And then after this, also one other thing is that part of the deal is that we also don't really talk about it, is that it was the accountability came from an international coalition. So it wasn't just the U.S. and Iran, right? And then the UN. No, China was involved in it. I think some European countries were involved a bit. Everyone was involved to making this deal happen.
Russia.
Trump comes in. He gets rid of the deal. Unilaterally gets rid of the deal, and he makes some spurious claims about Iran, right? We know Iran was following the deal scrupulously. And then even after he tore up the deal, they kept following the deal. They followed all tenets of the deal after it got torn up, right? Because they thought themselves, okay, well, maybe we'll just wait for the Americans, right, to regain their senses. Just like everyone else around the world, they thought, oh, Trump is temporary madness from the Americans. Well, let's just keep with this, and then hopefully the next one will restart it. But then Biden came in, right? And something I didn't realize at the time, but became obvious very later on, Biden is a filthy fucking Zionist, right? And so he didn't restart the deal. They were waiting. Everyone was waiting at the time. I remember waiting, thinking about this. Biden was Obama's vice president. The Iranians thought the same thing. He's going to restart the deal. He had no plans of doing that, right? He got his marching orders from Israel, so that wasn't going to happen. And then Trump comes back into office, and he says, literally, there's a quote of him saying, right? Why hasn't anyone thought of making a deal with Iran? Seriously, that came out of his fucking mouth. Amazing. And then this happens, and then the Israelis, right, trick him. We have notes or articles talking about the meeting with Netanyahu in the Situation Room, right, with our staff, the head of the administration, right, talking about like what this would cost, and it's like, oh yeah, this will be fine, right? This will be easy, right? So criticize as liberators, and they fucking fell for it. These idiots fell for it, and then it's something I just don't want to forget, right? I'm almost done, I promise. So there were like negotiations that happened, right, after Israel attacked him for that 12-day war bullshit, right? There was negotiations that happened twice, right? And both times, Israel assassinated the negotiators, right? They assassinated them. They killed the negotiators, the ones doing the peace deal. And then we're told this entire time, right, from an establishment that had overthrown Iran's government like years ago. We're told that the Iranians, they're the barbarians. They can't be trusted. They're the violent. Did you like fucking legal? So when I look at this deal, right, this worst version of the JCPOA, this humiliation, yeah, I say this is a good, this is a great outcome, right? This needed to happen. Sanity needs to be reapplied to this situation, right? And it just took utter humiliation, utter embarrassment on the world stage, and now everyone knows, yeah, I guess the Americans don't have the juice because they didn't have the juice. Done.
Okay. Well, I think the solution to this is putting a bunch of Starlink terminals and machine guns into Iran. So,
well, I mean, dude, Biden did try to re-enter into the JCPOA.
Yeah,
he really did. He literally did. He did try to re-enter into the JCPOA. There were numerous like things that were kind of outrageous from Iran. One of them was that they wanted guarantees that a future president would not pull out. And there's no, Biden is not capable of giving that promise. He's literally not capable of making a promise like that if Trump got reelected again right after him, that he wouldn't re-enter. He did try renegotiating numerous times. And then shortly after, he had just given, unleashed more sanctions to them through South Korea, to where he was trying to show some like goodwill towards them because they were requiring all sanctions to be released before negotiations even began. And once he released these sanctions, that was in late September. And I don't know if you guys remember what happened. That was late September 2023. Beginning of October of 2023, there was a whole thing that happened that made them redo the sanctions and freeze the money again, and made it to where they were doing investigations into whether or not Iran was funding Hamas for October 7th. So there were a lot of complications at that point, but he was trying to get back into the JCPOA.
1,000%. He said he named it while he was president-elect, but also I want to make I want to actually, well, I say devil's advocate, but I think there's again, I argue these things in good faith, and I think there's possibly some truth to it. What do you guys say to the idea that like none of the money, none of the deal, none of the things listed, like everything that sounds crazy, what if none of it actually, like if you're sitting at the negotiation table, they say none of this actually matters because like we don't have to do any of it. Like if from the United States perspective, they're like, oh, okay, like this war was a terrible idea, but we, the oil reserves are running low. If we can just sign a paper that says whatever they want, like the Iranians also want to get their oil back in the market. Like we can lift some sanctions on them so they can make some money they can actually make money that way to rebuild their country. But like, as far as, agreements from the Gulf states, I mean, what did they promise Trump? They were going to put in America like $15 trillion. Like they make up numbers that they're not actually going to like,
none of that shit's happening.
Well, that's something I wanted to.
So I'm saying, what if they just said that, like, oh, okay, we can get the straits open, we can walk away from this, and like, yeah, it says $300 billion, but like no one has in. They didn't have.
They're never going to give them that $300 billion.
Well, I wanted to clarify on that point because Tom, I may have taken some issue with something you said. Did you say it would cost U.S. taxpayers $1 trillion or around there?
Yes, that the
I think he's
their
saying
estimates that say-
cumulatively.
Yes,
Well,
it's
wait,
cumulative, not just for taxes, but also for like the amount of money
Like
that they had spent
increased
on
cost
extra,
of
on
living
gas,
related
yes,
to increases in
yes,
petroleum
everything.
costs.
Yes.
Like, dude, here's the
I don't
thing.
know.
20%, no, 20% of, the world's oil comes out of the Strait, but also specifically 20% of China's petroleum comes out of Iran. And therefore, if you increase the cost of their goods, and we are buying a shitload of Chinese goods,
Sure.
and those go up, then obviously that's like
It's
an added
difficult.
cost to the American consumer.
It is. It's difficult because, like, you're right. Like, I think there is overall a negative effect. Now, I haven't done the math to offset that with the positive effects. Well, now Chinese firms need to buy oil from Western oil producers, like in America, for example, which could potentially, that raises money for us. And so, what's the offset between that and the economic damage that's done when China doesn't, I guess, isn't able to ship their widgets for the same price? I mean, from what I'm seeing in terms of direct money cost from the U.S., I mean, that part's not too concerning, right? From my understanding, it's nothing in terms of U.S. dollars, like taxpayer dollars, going to Iran.
Well, technically,
it actually make it,
the
does that
deal
make
was
it better?
vague on that.
Well, we don't
said it was
know
just-
Well, it makes it
exactly
better
what
than
it
if
was.
it makes it better than if we're giving it. Yeah.
As in,
Well,
you're
no,
okay.
no, wait,
if
I just
wanna-
China says,
we don't
"This
know."
will happen," but if China says, "I'm going to give Iran $300 billion," you're okay with that.
No,
I
Corey,
think that's
you don't
better
have
than
to- you
us
don't have to-
giving it.
You're giving up a point.
Okay.
You don't have to give
We
up a
don't
point.
know.
The memorandum
Of course.
the
That's the
memorandum specifically stated that the United States, in combination with the Gulf states, would come up with some reasonable like fund valued at minimum $300 billion. Now, what you call it came back and said, oh, that's not going to be our money, but the deal doesn't say it's not going to be our money.
Sure. I mean,
It could-
Well,
like, the
they're
deal
being-
says
they're
it's
being-
100%
they're
anybody's
being
money.
They're
Sure.
being purposely vague with
Yeah, this is
that
vague.
for a reason.
I mean, they're not being
They
vague with
noted-
the statement.
There's some, yeah, they are, because
saying
they're
the deal
also
is
noting that a lot of the money can come from private investors from the U.S. I don't even know what the fuck that means. So it's like,
Well, it means that
we
Trump
don't
is
know-
going to war with them to hold them hostage so that he can force them to let him invest in their country. So
Oh,
that
no, for
now
sure.
he makes a lot of private money off of this. Yeah.
Hotels in Iran,
the-
Trump hotels in Iran.
he has so many foreign deals. We already know that. So the idea that like Americans are not giving them money is just not true. Now, if we're talking about like taxpayers,
hold on,
like more direct claim
We
like
don't
that,
know.
Okay.
that's different. But we don't know exactly how much money we're giving and who's giving the money.
Okay,
We
so
don't
here's
know
what we know. You're right. Anything could change. Who knows at the end of the day? But I think it's only fair to talk about, because maybe afterwards, like it turns out, in addition to like the actual deal that's made after the MOU is Iran never gets to have any enriched uranium again. That's going to be maybe that's going to be fucking close then. That's a pretty fucking good deal at that point. That is a significant improvement over the JCPOA. I'm holding my breath for that. I'm not expecting that to actually be the case.
Why is
to be
that even
clear.
an improvement?
But for Iran to never get a nuke?
No, not to never get a nuke, to never enrich. Like we say, any enrichment, like the
Yeah.
thing is
So
associated
I'll
with
explain.
nukes.
Yeah, I'll explain.
Yeah,
So the JCPOA had restrictions on they can only enrich to, I think it was like what, 3.17%. But that
3.6.
expired. But that expired in 2030, and then they
20
could enrich
years.
to whatever they wanted.
No, it's
Yeah.
2025. It was 2025, and they were able to extend it another 10 years. So it started in 2015, it ended in 2025, and then they were able to extend it another 10 years when it.
Okay.
When it
So
was-
I'll look into that again. I read 2030. If I'm wrong, then still 2035. That's still temporary, as opposed to some kind of
I think we can
firm
make a deal over
commitment.
20 years.
Some kind of firm commitment as to never getting it. Right. Again, I'm trying to deal with what we have on paper. Well, not only what we have in paper on the table, but what also is being stated as terms like the actual intents, both by Iran and by our own U.S. leadership. And when the U.S. leadership is saying, look, this $300 billion fund is going to come entirely from the Gulf states, and it's only going to be distributed when certain criteria are met by Iran. Yeah, what certain criteria means, I don't fucking know. But they seem to be pretty fucking clear that it's not coming for the U.S. taxpayer. There's still the
They
fact
said
that
that about the
we
ballroom.
paid for the bomb. It's still that we paid for the bombs, right? So that's what, 80 billion. Is what I was able to find from Reuters. Is what's being requested. At least part of $80 billion is being requested to rearm and replenish the munitions that we spent in Iran, which is still way too much fucking money, right? I mean, fuck that. But I mean, to sell it like it's going to cost the U.S. taxpayers $1 trillion. Like, if we want to like speculate as to the total economic impact in total, like comes out to $1 trillion, maybe. I don't know. That seems to be like the very upper ends of the estimates. It's certainly not like it wouldn't be as if the U.S. paid $1 trillion in taxpayer funding. That would be a complete catastrophe. That would be enough that I think Trump should probably just resign. $1 trillion.
Well, we already know that there's like about 100 billion in like, you know, bombs and munitions and things like that, plus like, you know, bases that were destroyed, plus, you know, the amount of like cost of fuel and food. There were just so many different things and then on top of that, we literally had fighter jets that went down. Like there were I think hundreds of people who have been injured. Like it has been fairly costly, but I did link an article in the Discord from CNBC saying the Iran war could cost the American taxpayer $1 trillion, says Harvard academic estimates that could total end up far higher than was promised.
But I mean,
over the next
anyone
decade,
dealing with my earlier point though, what do you think? Like, does it make it okay if they just decide that, like, oh, okay, well, it doesn't make it okay, but is it better if they feel like, oh, if we walk away and the strait's open, like, yeah, this was bad, but
well, we're not
better. Yeah, better for us. Yeah,
sorry, I'm waiting for us to get to some contention. But Al Udeid Air Base has like 10,000 people in it. It's literally across the strait. We're not walking away. There are like zero situations where we would draw all our troops from the Middle East and North Africa, as was claimed by, you know, some Middle Eastern and North African people. So we're never, we will always be right there. And I also guarantee you, here's another thing. We're also going to be supplying dissidents in Iran with internet connections and small arms. So this whole thing where it's like, oh, well, we might have a permanently denuclearized Iran. Well, as soon as, you know, some CIA guys get caught with Starlink terminals and fucking AK-47s inside Iran, Iran's going to say, fuck you, we're shredding the deal, we're going back to nuclear enrichment. You know, so I mean, this is all
to me, I think so. If you look at the scenario that Trump is in when he comes into office, like the fact that Biden had already tried renegotiating this and tried getting back into the JCPOA, and the demands that Iran was making at that time that were just kind of untenable, it does seem as though some sort of military action was going to have to take place in order to force them back into a reasonable deal in a reasonable scenario where they could start negotiating again. And so I think from that standpoint, there is like an argument to be made that like this was kind of inevitable. But the problem is that when Trump is the one who goes to war in that scenario, it's really fucking bad look when he's the one who pulled us out of the JCPOA in the first place. And so if we had never done that, we wouldn't have been in the scenario to where we had to do this. But I do think there is somewhat of an argument to be made that in the scenario that he was in coming into office for this term, that he did kind of have to go put a lot of pressure on them in order to get another deal done whatsoever.
Get back into the deal that he ripped up.
I wanted to ask, Bam, you said the situation that would it be better if we made a deal and then just like said anything, right, to like, you know, relieve tensions in the Strait of Hormuz and then go back on it? Like, would that be a better? But like you were asked,
yeah, like
question,
if we blame the Gulf, like because I'm arguing like I have a big issue with the money as well. But I'm just like, I was thinking if you want, like I said, I try to have a conversation from the honest perspective as possible. I don't think that we have any intentions of keeping this deal. I think we say whatever we can to get the straits open, but not just because we don't have, not just because of ourselves, because we don't have, like we didn't, like we don't. I don't think either side negotiated in good faith. I don't believe anyone believe that Iran has any intentions of maintaining any strong nuclear deal and creating.
There's no reason to believe.
Wait, why wouldn't
they? I mean, they maintained everything before.
They get literally everything. everything from this deal. Why wouldn't they want to do that? Like,
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
sanctions of getting restitution of like
that's not what the deal. That's not what the deal. The deal isn't just don't have a nuke. I know that's what we talk about, but the deal is also like I think they're talking about them signing onto the Abraham Accords, like becoming like a piece of the Middle East. Like I'm saying, I don't think that's what this. The 300 billion requires.
They are trying to westernize the country. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. But
a lot of that is getting shelved for later on. They're going to revisit a lot of these conversations.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry. Like, but sorry, did I miss something? Because like,
you might have missed the JD Vance press conference.
Okay. Was this part of the negotiation that like they wouldn't support Hezbollah or
they wouldn't support Hezbollah, they wouldn't support Houthis, they wouldn't support anything related to terrorism.
Yeah, so that's why it's not happening. There's no reason to think that would happen. Yeah, there's no reason to think
right. So that's what I'm saying. That was the point. So if you do any of that,
but they also the U.S. can ask for unreasonable things, right? Like they were asking before, like because Israel said so, right? Zionist masters, they asked them before to dismantle their ballistic missiles. Right, like you can't even have conventional ballistic missiles. That's completely off the table. That was nonsense, right? Poison pill inserted by the Israelis, but like that's off the table now. So like you can ask for that part of the negotiations, but like the fact that they won't, they almost certainly won't accede to that doesn't mean they're not negotiating in good faith. Those are two different things.
No, I'm not talking about.
Well, it's also kind of ridiculous that they were.
That's the deal of getting the money. If you don't do that, then like all of it goes away, but the strait's still open. So. Like I think that's what they were.
Why would that be the case? Sorry, I'm very confused. Sorry, I'm very confused, Bam, because I'm maybe I'm missing a few things here, but I'm like very confused as to what you're saying. And like also, then I'm gonna put something else on. I'll go to Rodell afterwards. I want to give him a chance to jump in. Like everyone's saying the money is bad. Why is the money bad? I don't think the money's. I honestly don't think the money's bad.
I said they should get $400 or $500 billion in my
including Americans.
24 million of 25 million of their money unfrozen. Okay, great.
Unfrozen
like
assets.
That's their money. They should be able to. Their assets. They should have that available to them. It was stolen by them from.
You can't freeze assets on terrorists. Why not? Why wouldn't you be able to do that?
They're not terrorists.
The whole country is there not a sovereign country?
The whole country.
Hezbollah and Hamas are 100% terrorist orgs. Like we're not.
We're not talking about Hezbollah, Hamas. We're talking about Iran. And even
wow.
Wait, hold on. Iran is Hamas's number one financier.
Hezbollah and Hamas.
I mean, if that's the case, Israel's a terrorist org too.
The invaders of Israel.
You can argue that.
Yeah, but they're our terrorists. Okay.
Yeah. Like, okay, great. Well, as long as we.
This whole like terrorism doesn't mean anything. You actually throw that word around.
You're trying to.
No. Hold on. This is horseshit. This is horseshit.
Let me finish this.
So Israel can be guilty of fucking doing like ethnic cleansing and all that bullshit, and people can still be terrorists.
Connor, I'm gonna finish. Thank you. Right. Now I love to hear what everyone has to say. Right. So, yes, 25 billion of their own assets, Iran's assets. I wasn't talking about Hezbollah or Hamas, right? Who, are allowed to fight for their homelands. Yeah, absolutely. And
were they fighting for their homeland when they shot 900 civilians in the face?
Yeah, where it was.
Look, I watch Superman. They don't seem like terrorists to me.
Plans, Gaza. No, actually,
Well, there was a big.
No. See, you're not denying what Hamas did. You just said Israel did bad shit too. That doesn't change the other side.
I am still going to finish my words here. And then $300 billion in restitution from the Gulf states. Actually, yes, maybe they should get more. Like this was a war of aggression from the U.S. and Israel, the Zionist masters, into their territory. They started this war. Iran came to the peace table, and then they blew up the peace table. Actually, and then they slaughtered the opening salvos of this war. Right? They slaughtered a school full of children. What are you talking about? Yeah,
well, that was us.
Americans. Yeah, by they I mean they.
Honest mistake.
In any case. Honest mistake, right? Yeah, but those kids are still dead. And this way, $300 billion actually seems cheap.
Okay, so
I don't understand why this money is bad.
Well, hold on,
if that
Bam.
money,
I
if that money said
well,
on it,
they
this
think
money
it's
is
a
to kill
terrorist
Prime
regime,
Bombs,
so
you would care about
wait.
any of the
I need an
details.
understanding
Don't say
here.
stupid
Hold on,
Really that
stuff.
simple.
Don't say stupid ass
I
words.
need to
support
understand this
terrorism.
position.
What the fuck did you say to me, Ben? What the fuck did you say to me?
I said if that money, you said, well, I don't understand why this fund is bad. I said if the fund said on it, this money is to kill Prime's mom, you would understand that. Like just because America did something,
Why would it be to kill Prime's mom? Bam.
Because
why are you saying dumb shit?
Because this is what the money is being used for. These money is being used
To
to
kill
fund
Prime's mom. Yes,
to do terrorism.
yes, exactly. Yes,
yes, including that. They would. You're
what
an American.
Zionist? Yeah, what Zionist told you that?
I'm not talking about Israel.
What Zionist made you that?
I'm not
They're going to kill
Prime's
Prime's mom. Did you know that?
What other terrorism are you talking about?
They're going to
They
are talking. They're going to rape your daughter.
do.
Oh
They
my
will
God,
kill Americans.
crazy.
Wait, hold on.
That's
Are we saying that they're
crazy.
not killing Jews on purpose? What are we saying?
You
Like you don't think that Israel has a valid concern to say that like Iran is funding Hezbollah and Hamas is the ones who kill Jews?
No, I don't actually. I stopped having that valid concern like a year ago.
It doesn't have the Israel is invading. Israel is literally invading Lebanon now, right? And then they get attacked, right? And then the Hezbollah are the terrorists that attack them when they're invading their territory. Right?
Okay,
hold on.
Amazing. They don't have the right to self-defense when they're attacking.
Here. Hold on. Okay, so Bam, when he's saying that, like, he gave his rationale for why he agrees with the money. Obviously, I'm not happy that we're giving them anything, and obviously, if we take everything into context, the fact that we ever pulled out of the JCPOA in the first place is like the bigger problem here. But he's saying from the position that Trump is in. Like from the position, he doesn't have the cards. From the point that he is,
Prime doesn't care about the cards. We can have all the cards. Prime is making a moral argument that they should be able to hurt us because we're bad people.
He just said, based on the fact that we pulled out of a deal, based on the fact that we were bombing them and doing all the shit, he is saying, from the position, what we do first. Everything that we just did.
Let Tom finish. Let Tom get it out.
Wait, but that's what I'm asking is based on the position that we're in. Like, yes, it's stupid that we're giving them money. But we're giving them money because Trump has put us in a position to where we don't have the cards. And so from that position, like you agree, we don't have much of an option here. We have to
yes, I said that. I said that in my opening, but that's not Prime's position. Prime doesn't care about the cards. We could have all the cards.
Yeah, he's saying it's good that we give them money.
Kill Americans. Like that's
what
he
don't.
He thinks they're owed it and they're honored it because we attacked them first and we're the bad guys.
That's why.
That's a nice straw man. That's a good straw man. That's a good straw man.
I'm straw man.
Wait a minute. Let's actually look at that. Hold on. If you're saying Americans who have invaded their territory, well, of course they have the right to defend themselves, right? So if you're talking about soldiers, if they were invading, of course they'll be able to respond. We would say the same thing if someone invaded the United States. Obviously,
what do you mean
right?
murdering soldiers?
Like,
is that murder or killing?
Talking about that, but I'm not talking about like the bases that are firing.
You're talking about like I'm advocating for United States interests. My name is Black American
Iran who are firing into Iran. Of course, they have the option to respond and fire back. Of course, right? But no, Prime is not like for killing Americans. It's not killing his mom.
What about killing Israeli civilians?
That's not what it's advocating for.
What about Israeli civilians?
Shameless, stupid.
Fuck them.
Yeah, nice try.
Wait, Prime, I got a question for you.
Sure, man.
I got a question. So
I see you.
I'm genuinely curious because I try to ask all my questions in good faith.
Sure.
So are you concerned that, obviously putting all this power, because I pretty much agree that, we're in a situation where, of course, we're going to get a losing deal. I think we all agree to that. We're going to have a losing deal because Trump put us in a war that nobody asked for. With that said, are you concerned if we isolate Iran as a regime, are you concerned that giving them money or giving them some type of like influence is something that is bad overall, especially considering like before a lot of this happened, there was a lot of inner turmoil between Iran's government and their people. And we also have like the weird kind of dynamic between obviously like the different factions of power in Iran. So do you really trust that after giving them the money, giving them enforcement to have this control over the strait, that this is something that is good?
Sorry, you're saying good, like good is doing a lot of work here. What do you mean
based
by
on the
good?
circumstances?
Like good,
like Iran getting $300 billion is
I don't
dope.
understand. Sorry, Riddell. I'm trying. Sorry, Riddell's asking me something. Riddell, like I don't understand what you mean by good. Could you explain?
Because it seems to me,
sounds like
when,
you want them to get the money one way or the other. That's what it sounds like. That's what everybody.
It does. It does.
You want them to get the
I
money
want to
one way or the
understand if, like, is there a consideration that maybe you have like all these gripes with like US and what they've done in the last couple of years, and of course your issues with Israel, but we're isolating the factor that is Iran. And do you understand the situation we're talking about is giving this regime and what they've done money in a vacuum, regardless of the US and regardless of Israel, of the issues that I just outlined.
Yeah, we're not in a vacuum though, right? Like Iran and it's all of Israel's neighbors have been attacked this entire time, right? So it's not within a vacuum. America.
Wait, who attacked all of Israel's neighbors?
Israel attacked its neighbors. I don't. Yeah.
No,
sorry.
No, Iran attacked all the Gulf states.
Israel has been at war with almost all of them. What are you talking about? Anyway,
not recently. During the Iran conflict, it's been Iran that bombed all the Gulf states.
All of them was recently. Lebanon is happening now. Lebanon happened 20 years ago. Gaza has happening now. Gaza happened
that's not the Gulf states.
20 years ago. Yes, hold on. But I'm saying, I said all of its neighbors. I didn't say Gulf states. I said all.
Well, Saudi Arabia is one of their neighbors. Egypt is one of their neighbors. They have not attacked Egypt recently. They have not attacked Saudi Arabia recently. Iran attacked Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar.
The ones that Israel.
I mean, Israel attacked Qatar as well. So
I know, but I'm making the point that you're saying that Israel is the instigating antagonist. Well, what happened within the past year? Yeah, Iran bombed all of their fucking neighbors, including all of the Gulf states.
I mean, because they got attacked.
The Gulf states didn't do shit.
They're allied, right? They're our allies. That's how it happens.
So don't you think they should have hit the military installations instead of random Gulf state hotels?
I mean, that's
put on. They have military installations on their and they have to allow the United States to use them to fire on Iran. Of course, yes.
But what was the point of blowing up random hotels and airports instead of the military installations?
I'll tell you exactly why.
Maybe like their assholes.
I'll tell you exactly.
That's what Israel does. So it's kind of just a tit for tat.
No! Don't answer for me because I have the answer.
I wasn't answering for you.
Please. The reason why is because we well, there's two reasons why. One is to just like attack their tourism, right? But the second reason is because we actually were putting troops into those hotels. We took troops out of the bases and put them in there, which is like a war crime. It's against the rules of war.
Hamas run hospitals, baby. Hamas run hospitals.
We put like military troops in civilian infrastructure.
Did we actually do
to hide them? That's. Do I have a source you're asking? I'll show you.
No, I'm looking it up right now. I've heard this before.
Okay.
No, I mean, when Al Udeid got hit, there were American service personnel who were told to go to the hotels.
Oh my
God. But I think it's borderline.
You guys are using human shields.
I think it's borderline laughable to think that a Shahed
are Americans using human shields? What's going on?
No, the Americans were using human shields.
I think that's pretty fucking funny.
Americans using human shields is crazy.
Yes, the Americans leaving all of the bases and going and staying in like hotels.
Only like 300 fucking people went into the fucking hotels. There's still 10,000 people at Al Udeid.
A lot of people. 300 people is a lot of people. You're doing it.
There's still 10,000 at Al Udeid.
Only is doing a lot of listening. There was only one Hamas guy in the houses and in the hospitals when we completely eviscerated Gaza. You know, there was one Hamas guy. That means we have to eviscerate the building. Listen,
but this isn't like blowing up a hospital because Hamas in it. This is like blowing up a building next to the fucking building that has Hamas in it.
These are your standards. There was a military guy. It's your standards. Your standards.
Probably not appropriate to minimize.
Saying it's only 300 people doesn't really matter all that much when the Trump administration is the one who started the war in the first place and had no plan to bring any of these people out of the fucking bases. Like it was still on them, and they did end up using all of these Gulf state civilians as human shields. Like they did do it. It's not like when you keep comparing like, oh well, they did more. Like sure, but the Trump administration definitely
9,700 troops are right there for Iran to ballistic missile, and they don't because they kind of
hold on.
But that's like a technological limit.
Okay, a
So
couple
they
things.
can't. So now you know why they hit
Right.
the other structures.
Sure.
Let's let
Yeah.
So they because they can't hit valid military targets, they should hit civilians. Awesome argumentation.
Listen, man, if you're coming from my argument, my like in Lebanon, the civilian buildings are getting hit left and right, and no, I don't see you the same contention there. So I'm not going to have the same contention back.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's really that fucking simple.
Literally flattening Lebanese villages.
All the rage goes to one side. All the rage goes to one side.
For Israel right now. I'll do that later.
No, wait. It's not about the sweep for Israel. It's about the rage that goes to one side, but then not the rage that goes to the other. When the terrorists do something, oh my God, we have to look at it in such a microscope. But then when the countries do something, it's like, listen, it's just. Listen, man. This
they videotape themselves shooting people in the back of the fucking face. That's why
we have endless fucking videotapes of by IDF soldiers of doing endless war crimes. That's what all TikTok was for the last fucking 3 years. Unbelievable.
To be clear, it's mostly the aftermath of airstrikes, but yes, blowing up 80% of buildings inside Gaza was pretty fucked up.
And what they're doing in the West Bank, and what they're doing in South Lebanon
to go after some of the
Never mind. We're just
I
think a lot of us agree. Israel
guys, we're gonna let Lactoid in. Lactoid's been waiting patiently.
Okay,
please.
So 2 points. I'm going to address what's currently being talked about, but I also want to go back. I read the article, Tom, that you sent, and thank you for sending that. I do have some contentions with it. The professor, so this was about 2 weeks following the start. There was a Harvard professor who stated that this could cost up to $1 trillion. And then she cites numbers that now the Pentagon isn't even asking for. So she cites part of it due to the initial $200 billion that has since been reduced as of June to 80. And the estimates as to personnel costs and other munitions just haven't seemed to borne fruit, or haven't seemed to play out.
8 billion?
80.
80.
80.
Oh, 80.
Yeah, 80. I'm willing to admit that the cost of taxpayers here is probably going to be in the realm of probably $100 billion.
I was going to say the minimum I've seen is 100. That's
100 billion. Yeah. So it's with it, but that's the rearmament is 80 billion. But I'm also factoring in things like for the wounded troops, things like veteran services, et cetera, and that's going to cost money, right? So
yeah, I was saying those are the higher ends of the estimates. Like I understand that,
but the reason why
are about 100 billion.
But I'm not trying to quibble about this point just to like quibble or like do a gotcha or whatever. I think it's important to I guess I talk shit about this deal. Don't get me wrong, but I also just want to make sure that the numbers that are being presented, I don't want people to think that this is going to cost the U.S. taxpayers like trillions of dollars, which some people have been telling me that this is going to cost everything.
Oh,
I think
with the
I think
that is a little insane.
From what I've seen, like 100
something that.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Look, I'm against it, right? I'm against it. I think 100 billion is bad. To what Prime said though about I guess I didn't even know this, and I just looked it up, and it's true. Our troops were leaving the bases and going to civilian hotels. Man. I mean, I think there is a good point to say, look, you blame Hamas when they take refuge in hospitals, which is blameworthy. I mean, that's perfidy. You're not allowed to do that, right? But then how can you blame, but then all of a sudden, like you would blame Iran for targeting hotels when our troops are in them? There's an argument there for sure. I will say though, although the Gulf states did participate, I know Bahrain, for example, I think it came out later that they actually fired a few missiles. I do think that the initial wave of attacks against the Gulf states, I think even like Iran pulled that back because they sort of tacitly admitted that it was aggression towards, I guess, what they saw as the wrong actor, right? I mean, because they launched the initial strikes, and then the Gulf states were like, what the fuck? We're not involved in this. And then Iran said, look, we're not going to strike you anymore. We're just going to strike Israeli and U.S. targets. Isn't that sort of an admission? Well, sure, right. Okay.
Well,
fair enough.
So you're correct that it's sort of an admission. The problem is that they had conflicting statements about this, because even when the president came out and said, yes, we're sorry, we're not going to do it anymore, they did continue doing it. And others were like, no, we are going to continue doing it. But I think we all should agree that, like, yes, it's obviously bad for them to be striking a bunch of countries that are not participating in the war. But it is also true that, like, when it comes to leverage for Iran, they were put in a situation where they just didn't have a whole lot of options. When Israel has the dome, they're not going to fire missiles into the United States, and so the only way that they can put pressure on the United States is to get their own allies to be upset.
I need to clarify one more thing with you, Prime. Can I clarify something with you? And then, so I've heard you say statements before, and I've heard you argue right now. I just want to make sure here. So I think it's undeniable that Hezbollah and Hamas get funding and direction from Iran, the RGC. I think that is undeniable.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, okay, so when Bam before he's like, this is, you unfreeze these assets, this is going to go to terrorism.
To kill my mom.
To kill your mom, I think that was hyperbolic, right? But I mean, it's not
dumb. It was stupid. It was a dumb fucking thing to say.
It was American.
I wouldn't have said it, okay? But it was.
You're not dumb. Go ahead.
I like Bam. Bam's a smart guy. But I think that what he's saying is, look, you unfreeze these assets. Some percentage of them are probably going to go into the pockets of Hamas. They're probably going to go into recruitment efforts, into weapons, into rockets. They're going to go into funding the organizations that did the attacks on October 7th, that participated in this kind of warfare. I mean, I think that's a valid concern. Like, although I'm happy that we're not paying the $300 billion and that, you know, it's not taxpayer money on the unfrozen assets, I'm not a fan of Iran getting $300 billion or getting $25 million in unfrozen assets, because some significant chunk of that probably is going to go to the Houthis, Hamas, or Hezbollah, which aren't the best organizations.
Do you want me to respond?
Not even just that. Wait, before you respond, add in. I'm going to add another done statement to add in. It also.
What about Israel?
It also goes towards their towards the larger plan, the larger nuclear plan. If you have an issue with the nuclear issue, we know what Iran's actual plan is. It's not, they're not going to sneak a nuke past you. They're going to arm up on the ballistic missiles to a point that they become such a big threat that they can fire off enough military power that we can't actually get back in. Then if they do get back air superiority from having tons and tons of ballistic missiles, then it's the same thing. Then they can work on a nuke in peace, and they do have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. Okay. So
like this money would also go towards that.
Yeah, sure. I can respond to both of those things, one after another. One, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, right, are the only organizations in those areas, those specific areas, right, that are actually fighting against like aggression to their territory, right? Like Hezbollah, like formed because Israel, right, the Zionist, disgusting, parasitic state, right, attacked into Lebanon. And like occupied, yeah, whatever. Trust me, that will never work on me, right? In fact, it makes me double down. Fucking parasitic Israel, occupied southern Lebanon, right, for a certain number of years. And
it's not me, Mossad. It's not me.
Yeah, Hezbollah. Yeah, sorry, Hamas. Sorry, not that's Mossad. Sorry, Mossad. It's me. I did it, right? Not Lactoid.
You're not a real man unless you die by Mossad.
Yeah, pay Connor, right, for saying your talking points, right? Then strike me for talking back against you. Okay, so anyway, they formed as a response to parasitic Israeli aggression. Right, that's what happened. Hamas formed in response to Israeli aggression. Right, the Houthis. What
do they do?
No one cares how they form. What do they do? And then when we say, "What does Israel do?" You go, "Well, this isn't about Israel."
Yeah, apparently.
No, I just don't want to talk about Israel.
So,
I mean, this is about Israel.
This is about Americans being killed.
Started by Israel. It's going to be part of the conversation. Don't worry.
I want to talk about the outcomes and the interest in America.
Hey, Bam, let me understand you. I'm running this shit, okay? Right? We're going to talk about what the fuck I want to talk about. And I'm part of this conversation is Israel. So if you don't want to talk about it, you can leave.
No, I'm going to stay here and complain.
But we're going to be talking about Israel.
And make you feel bad.
Thank you. I'll talk about great. Anyway, back to talking about Israel. Israel has invaded those two territories. I'm not sure about the history of the Houthis. I'm not exactly sure of that, so I'll leave that alone. But in any case, right? Yeah, they were fighting Western aggression. Obama funded a years-long bombing campaign into Yemen. Yes, excuse me, Yemen, right? Where by Saudi Arabia, they basically did what they did with Israel years later, right? So like they gave them the money to do the attacking, right? So they gave Saudi Arabia money so they could start this terrible bombing campaign across Yemen. So many people were killed. We don't discuss it, right? And then we later on in the Trump administration, we assassinated the Yemenis leadership, right? Constant aggression. So you're saying what happens if some of that money gets in the hands of people who have actually are defending their people, like some organizations that are defending their people? Yeah, I'm okay with it. I won't lose any sleep over those people defending themselves, right, from U.S. imperialism. I know you understand this, Lactoid, right, about me, but I'll restate it. I'm an anti-imperialist. I'm deeply anti-imperialist,
Anti-American,
right? And I want to, and my preferred way of demolishing imperialism is here at home, right? To demolishing the taking apart the institutions that enacted, taking apart the incentives, right? Like reforming our political system so it works for us. So we're not making war somewhere else. We're not spending American taxpayer money, right? Something we can reach across, right? We're not spending American taxpayer money on like needless wars, right? That we maybe work through diplomacy, like a reasonable, non-barbaric country. That's my my preferred way of handling this. But like on the other side of it, I can't tell other people not to defend themselves, from slaughter, from American.
Can you tell them not to shoot women and children in the face?
Slaughter. Parasitic Israeli slaughter, right?
They have to be able to. Do you feel?
Tell your allies to stop bombing women and children. Tell your allies to stop bombing women and children. Tell your allies to stop bombing women and children before you start.
Okay, Israel, stop bombing women and children. That way the Muslims will stop shooting women and children in the face.
There we go. Just have the same energy, Connor. Just have the same energy.
You'll never hear me defending the Israeli government. But my only thing here, Prime, is. With everything that you're saying here, it does the assumption, the perception I'm getting from you is that you're like excusing Iran's actions. And I'm kind of concerned about that. So
I'm not excusing anything.
And that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. When it comes down to it, Prime, and we're going to have this conversation about giving money to the Iran government, and we're talking about, people getting ostracized or oppressed by their regime. Are you concerned about the Iran's regime towards their people?
Yes, but like I'm not pro IRGC. I'm not pro Iran or Iran theocracy. I'm not pro any of them. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck the
but they're the government are going
to be democracy. We should bring back their king. That's what we should do.
Yes.
I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that.
Democracy
all over again, please.
Sorry, no, the thing I'm worried about, right? I'm worried about the parasitic, right, government of Israel. I'm worried about the government that's been attacking their neighbors this entire time. I've been the one worried about the one that's been setting that region on fire for decades. That's what I'm worried about. No, do I want the Ayatollahs to be overthrown or whatever, right? Would I like a new government to come in? Absolutely. In Iran, absolutely. Write it down. Prime wants them to disappear, right? But
hold on, real quick.
I'm going to answer the question.
But we've tried this before. It doesn't work.
Yeah. But it's not going to happen by American hands, right? It has to happen by Iranian
real quick follow up after this.
Just one more bomb.
I don't want to follow up real quick.
Sorry, go ahead.
Just one more coup.
The only reason why I'm going down this line of questioning is because you got to understand people's concerns when it comes down to funding Iran. And I hear this argumentation from people that are leftists all the time that our biggest issue with Israel is because we're supporting Israel. In this situation, we would be giving money to Iran, which is a regime that you have issues with. And recently in 2025, there's a lot of bad shit that they're doing. So can you understand why people would have the same type of concern giving money to a regime people think is very bad, just like how you think about Israel?
Riddell, right?
Yes,
sorry,
I heard you.
Sorry, fine. Let me calm down. You've been great, right? Fuck Bam.
He's new here. Be nice,
Riddell. I'm not going to give you the energy. I'm not going to give you energy. You've been
all right. Yet. Give it a couple more panels.
Not yet. Everyone gets the energy eventually. Even my man Connor, who I like a lot, right? Everyone gets the energy eventually. But anyway, so it's not about like me liking governments, right? Or thinking that they're good, right? Governments are, right? I think that the American government has an ocean of blood on its hands, right? But do I want the American government to fall necessarily? No, I'm not advocating for the American. Other friends, other people I know,
just the soldiers
are advocating for that. No, I'm not doing that, right? Like, I understand. Like, again, there are governments that are good and they're bad, right? But like that is outside of the question. We're talking about how can people. Are people allowed to defend themselves, right? And should they be made whole after they're being attacked? We attacked them at a war of aggression, an illegal war of aggression. Yeah, actually, they should get that money back. If we didn't want to give them that money, we shouldn't have attacked them. That was the problem. That's the problem.
That's the problem. That you're saying that. I understand you're having this conversation from, again, this more perspective of like whatever you want to do. I'm having this perspective as an American citizen, an American patriot with an American interest. Even if I acknowledge everything related to this deal is bad, even if I acknowledge that we never should have went over there, I still want the United States to come out on the better end of it, and you don't. You want American soldiers. You say because they're over there.
Wait, no, but that's ridiculous because you have to actually consider what it is that like the United States ought to do in scenarios. You want to consider how the United States looks.
Yes, I would want them to act in better ways, but I don't want the United States to be.
But when they don't, you should want to hold them.
You have to consider. You have to consider like what it is that we are supposed to represent.
Because they happen to be sent over to a base. They happen to be in the
which is the accountability of the government for the action. Hold the government accountable for that action.
We did not go to war over any of this other shit. You guys, it's okay. Iran can be bad. We didn't go to war over Iran bad. We didn't go to a war over the fact that they killed their civilians. We didn't go to war over any of this other
brought that up. I'm just talking about American citizens not being.
Why did we go to war?
So the point, though, the problem is that the problem is that if we do attack people, we have we should represent American values. We should be a country that has that is able to act the way that we would expect other countries to act when they do something like this as well. And that is the expectation here, is that just because we don't like this other country doesn't mean that we shouldn't be doing the right thing in this scenario. But I want to take it back because you were talking about earlier that like Iran's just going to try to come around and find a way to make a nuke anyways. Do you think they're actually trying to build a nuke?
Yeah, for sure. There's not a country on earth that doesn't want a nuke.
Well, probably now they are. Okay, if in their best interest now to build it.
If they weren't trying to approximately enrich fucking uranium, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. They enriched up to 60% because it's easier to enrich from 60 to fucking 90, and then at fucking 90 and change, you can get into a fucking nuclear bomb.
When did they start enriching? When did they start enriching?
After the JCPOA was shredded because Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. That doesn't change what I said.
I mean, okay, but you make it seem no wait, real quick. You make it seem like it's some nefarious action that when when there was a government that was complying with the U.S., another president comes in, rips in the contract that they were complying with. Well, then, yeah, it's not nefarious that they started. They have no idea what the fuck's going on. They have no idea if they're going to get bombed. They watch other countries around them do this that had the same exact thing happen to them, get absolutely fucked. So yeah, it's not a nefarious action, but the way that you paint it in the narrative, they enriched to 60%. They want a nuclear bomb so they can throw it at America. That's not the fucking case. That's not the fucking case.
That's not what I'm saying. They want a nuclear bomb so they can become a kingdom that is you can't.
Maybe like the people around them. Maybe like their adversaries. Maybe like their adversaries who have the nuclear bombs. You guys don't care about their non-proliferation. You don't care if Israel has the bombs. That's kind of the issue.
Okay, so there's an argument to be made. There's an argument to be made.
Hold on.
To listen to everybody else, I've been sitting here patiently for minutes killing aliens.
We will let Tom finish, and then we're going to go to counterpoints. He's been waiting. I know he wants to jump in.
So
then I'm after counterpoint.
Uranium to 60%, but then they sat there. They sat on it for 5 fucking years. They could have enriched it from 60% a lot quicker, but they didn't. They sat on it for 5 years. It seems as though the only reason that they enriched the uranium in the first place is because Trump pulled out of the JCPOA. They needed some leverage in order to get us into a new deal. But if they wanted a bomb, they would have had a bomb already, and then there would be no deal to be made. Like we would just be fucked.
I don't agree.
They would have already had it. How? Okay,
and the explanation
because fucking Stuxnet. We have literally been sabotaging their nuclear program for decades.
We have been.
No, I don't disagree.
And then there was Midnight
disagree that
Hammer.
they-
I don't think you
that
can
they
say they would have had a
benefit from
bomb
having
already.
a bomb. I'm not disagreeing that they would
no,
want to have
sorry,
a bomb.
like
I'm
Stuxnet
disagreeing
and
that they
Midnight
are better
Hammer point
off.
to the fact that they actually would have developed shit if they could.
So
I'm disagreeing that they are better off in getting back into a deal than they would be building a bomb. They get better deals. They have better standards. If all they do is just build a bomb, they don't get all of their sanctions released. They don't get.
But
all
you
this
would
fucking,
agree that they're
they don't
more
get
hesitant to get in a deal with America because of what happened in the last couple of years, though.
Yes, well,
Okay,
that's why there was
I can acknowledge a state
That's why
is,
it was so hard for Biden.
Do you think it's like rational for Nazi Germany to fight in the defense of its own country while it's getting its shit kicked in by the Allies? I can simultaneously recognize the rational actions of a state and still think that that state needs to be overthrown. What I wanted to articulate to fucking Ali is, as an example, like the Sudanese Civil War, 500,000 fucking dead Muslims, nobody gives a fuck about that. The Syrian Civil War, 500,000 dead fucking Muslims. Nobody gives a fuck about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So hold on.
Wait. Why? Why don't people give a fuck about that? Why don't people give a fuck about that? Why?
Please, let me.
I want to see him red.
So what I would say is that I don't like the Iranian regime, and I think that the Iranian people deserve a better fucking government. So I would like for them to be overthrown. If you're casual about them getting a nuke, then what they're going to become is North Korea, where you can't overthrow the fucking government, because if you do, you're risking the entire planet.
Connor, didn't we try to overthrow the government already? And then that's how we got this IRGC thing, right? They voted people, and then we instilled a Shah. Like you want to overthrow them. I get it. You want to rule the world, but like it just doesn't work. You don't. We don't understand the Middle East. We don't understand the Middle East in the way that you want.
One more.
Eastern Europe.
One more.
South Korea.
To what? Like the Middle East is different. The Middle East doesn't work. You guys keep trying in the Middle East, and it doesn't fucking work. And then you lose trillions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of people, and then we cry. And then you have Bam over here. It's like, oh no, the Prime wants the soldiers dead. No.
Well, maybe you should have been born on top of over there to begin with. It wouldn't be. You wouldn't have this problem.
Just give us what we want.
I think
that's why we need
in terms of
green energy.
In terms of a broader conversation in the Middle East, I just think, there's no argument here, right? Iraq was a disaster. Afghanistan was a disaster. Syria was like, we sort of won. I mean, Bashar is gone, but the people that are in charge, people that are in charge are like former Al Qaeda affiliates.
Thank God we're against the Shia theocracy. We're allied with the Sunni theocracy.
They're really nice.
They support kings and queens.
Massacre the Alawites.
Slavery over there. The fuck out of here, man.
Saudi Arabia and Iran aren't that different to me.
Fuck the Saudis.
But like Saudi Arabia's on our side. That's what I'm saying. Like
they sell us oil.
That's
why we put up with their bullshit.
Well, I wanted to say one thing about that.
They're on our side.
I wanted to say one thing about that, Connor. You brought up, I think you said what you say. What was it? Oil and what else you say was the reason for going to Iran? Oil and.
Well, I mean, no, the Middle East and North Africa, all of our intrigues in the Middle East and North Africa, I cannot understand anybody arguing that it's not about petroleum.
Earlier in this conversation, like somebody said like what Iran was about, and you said it was oil and something else.
Oil and nukes.
Oil and nukes. That's what you said. That's correct. I think nukes is probably a pretty strong interest that the U.S. has. We don't want our enemies to get nukes. We also didn't want the North Koreans to get nukes, and then when they got them, and they were like, oh fuck, well I guess we're just kind of done with that one, because Seoul is right there. But right. I think there's another element here. I mean, am I crazy? Israel was the one who made the decision. Sure, Israel was the one who made the decision to launch the strike, and
bring up Israel.
Isn't this sort of right? But isn't because they keep bringing up Israel. But I think in this conversation, Israel might actually be a pretty relevant thing to bring up if they did bring us into this whole conflict, because that's not very cool. And then now that Trump's trying to get us out of it, right? We have
they're all flipping on them.
Polling on Trump has shifted from 71% down to 71% don't trust him anymore when it comes to the Middle East. I mean, I don't know.
Got off Israel.
it feels a little bit. I got to bring it back. It gets people hyped. It gets people hyped up
without having.
Wait, so what? Sorry, what's the point that you're trying to make though?
I guess the point I'm trying to make is like, I think that we can look at this and we can say, look, the U.S. has an interest in like, I guess, global supply chains with the oil that flows into China. Sure, we like economy, go up. That's good. Line go up, very important. I don't disagree. We don't want our enemies to have nukes or to fund terror operations. That's great. I agree with that. But I think another serious element of this is like, honestly, we have this ally in the Middle East that apparently is making decisions that are kind of getting us in a little bit of hot water. Like, aren't they currently refusing to like work with us when it comes to Lebanon, which is causing issues with the peace agreement? Like, at what point?
That whole ethnic cleansing in southern Lebanon thing is not cool.
Yeah, at what point do we say?
Cool.
At what point? Like, here, I'll put a question mark. At what point are we going to have the guts?
For the civilians
at what point are we going to have the guts to say, look, you do what we say here, or you're not getting another dime? Like stop fucking us up in Lebanon.
I think now
we're not getting any money.
Now, hold on, I'm answering his question. I think if we were a moral people and we didn't have this whole like 6 million Jews who live in the United States and like 7 million who live in Israel, and then like a very vocal, a very vocal lobby. If we were like a truly moral people, I would say now. Like southern Lebanon should not be annexed. The West Bank should not be annexed.
Because I'll be honest, that's where I'm at. I would be okay with cutting off all aid at this point.
Yeah. Well, but here's the problem. Hold on. This is very important. This is very important for the conversation. So we currently do have like deep intelligence ties, deep military ties, deep this, deep that. But the actual money that we give them is only $4 billion a year. And if you look at the entirety of the Israeli like GDP, it's only about like 2 or 3% of their GDP. And so as a result, we could actually just stop giving Israel $0 from here on out. $0 fucking dollars. And I do not know if that would actually change them.
Wait, that's not all we give them, though. That's not all we give them, though.
That's not all. No, Ali's right. That's not all.
That's not all we give them.
We also give them Iranian wars.
The annual guarantee.
We also go to war for them when they
$4 billion.
Yeah, I know, but if they beg enough for it, we go to war for them too. So it's like stop minimizing what we give them and like just the aid. It's everything that goes along with being the ally to this country, as in we go to war for them all the fucking time.
Well, but I don't think that changes what I said though, which is if we were like a more moral people, we would be turning off the spigot now.
We just decouple with them, right?
Yes, exactly. We would
decouple, probably not, because like we don't want the Holocaust 2.0, the reverse Nakba 2.0.
No. We turn it on if that's about to happen. I would agree with that.
Sure.
If it looks like the Holocaust 2 is going to happen, okay, we got to get involved.
Right? The current ethnic cleansing is happening, and no one wants to give a fuck about that.
No. Hold on. I'm saying cut off the money now, and hey, you got to stop all this crazy shit. Otherwise, it's going to stop.
But then what counter's saying is like what counter's saying is we can't decouple with them because we don't want the Holocaust to happen. Meanwhile, literal ethnic cleansing is happening. I won't say genocide because I know how everyone feels about that word, but a literal ethnic cleansing has been happening. I know you will, but they won't agree. Then we argue over the word.
You don't have to do me.
But no one says anything about that right now, Connor. You've been.
No, we do say stuff about it.
No. You've been screeching about the civilians. You've been screeching about the civilians in Israel that died. But the second we talked about southern Lebanon, well, yeah, it's not cool what's happening in southern Lebanon. No, well, where's the energy about the civilians dying?
He did call it ethnic cleansing.
To my knowledge,
I heard him say that.
They have mass deported 600,000 people. But what are the casualty stats in southern Lebanon?
I'm sorry, do like when people have their homes destroyed and they have nothing to go back to and their livelihood, the sicknesses and the things that come.
That's
just because there wasn't an immediate death from the bomb.
So
just because there wasn't an immediate death from the bomb? I don't know how many deaths there were. I kind of stopped counting
how many people have died in southern Lebanon right now.
No, I don't know the total death count. But I'd probably say it's in the thousands. Probably saying this in thousands.
Shut the fuck up. Let's take a look.
Are they called Lebanoners? What's the plural?
Lebanese.
Yeah.
Lesbians.
Fucking piece.
In regards to the taking away, I think a lot of us agree that Israel is being unhinged and we should stop with the aid. And I do think we are in an interesting situation.
More than 4,000 people have been killed.
Okay,
there you go. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking people.
I think we are in an interesting situation where more and more people are being like antagonistic to Israel, of course, and even on the right, the support for Israel is waning because like Israel is causing us to go into foreign conflicts now and then. But I'm still I'm kind of conspiracy brain. Now, one of the biggest reasons why Trump will do anything Netanyahu wants is because he wants to build Las Vegas and Gaza. Like, that's what I think. I think he wants to build Las Vegas
and the Epstein
Gaza.
files, but yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
I'm not as conspiracy.
Oh, come on.
And stuff, but not as much. Not as much.
The dude was banging teenagers in the 80s and 90s. What do you want from me?
This has been the U.S. policy for decades. Come on. This is what?
No, but in this situation, we know for a fact.
Hold on. But you were
Trump
just arguing a
wants
second
to
ago
build
that
Vegas
we
and
should
Gaza.
return to our 1960s position, which I think was effectively LBJ, where Nixon, or excuse me, JFK actually was not super friendly with Israel. That's why there's conspiracy theories about his murder being related to the Israelis. But
that one ship that was attacked or whatever.
But the point there being that like LBJ was friendly and did provide aid, but we were nowhere near as entrenched as we are right now. So like it sounds to me like you want to go back to the 60s. So for instance, like Golden Meir. Hold on. This is an important historical anecdote. Golden Meir allegedly called some president. I forget who it was. It might have been Nixon. And she said, hey, we're losing this war right now. I think it was 67. We're losing this war right now. And if you don't come bail us out with like an ammo resupply, we're going to use tactical nukes along our border. That's the kind of like strategic ambiguity, or not strategic ambiguity, but strategic backup that I would be willing to provide is like, we could help out Israel with defensive wars, but we're not helping them with offensive bullshit anymore.
Well, hold on a second. So
helping them with their defense is helping them with their offense.
I just want to make sure my point wasn't lost. I don't disagree that like the U.S. foreign policy like has been pro-Israel as of late, and especially within the past like 10, 15 years. I think that's undeniable. I just expressed some skepticism that like this is all because Bibi has like dirt on Trump with the Epstein files.
No. We're still, even without that, we're still an incredibly Zionist country.
I just want to be
sure. Like one of the points that's always brought up that I don't find it like compelling because everybody already knows it, but I do think it's an interesting factoid. It's like arguably there are more Christian Zionists than there are Jewish Zionists.
Yeah.
Because the Christians have been given this narrative since World War II. It's like, Israel's got to exist. It's got to exist, or Holocaust 2.0.
That is changing.
A minute ago, Riddell was saying that like a Republican support for Israel is waning, but it's not real. Like if from 2025, it was in 80%. 80% were still in support of like sending aid to Israel.
And a lot has happened.
It's less. It's a lot less now.
The people, yes, but the senators and congressmen, no, they're kind of bought out. But like the people, the voters, their opinions have shifted, but the people in government, their opinions haven't shifted. No,
well, no. Again,
the reason why that matters is because of the upcoming midterm elections.
It's going to like 80% to 70%, and it's not bought out, dude. They just like the norms for like the majority of Congress has been that they support Israel, and most of these people got elected during a period where they're
heavily funded by AIPAC, and they're heavily funded by all these groups to win. How is that not relevant?
And they're religious zealots.
No, I'm going to try to split the difference here, and I'm going to say it's not straight money. It's not straight money. We have all been narrativized with the post-World War II narrative that fucking Israel is one of the safe harbors for Jews on the planet. And, that it needs to exist. That way the Holocaust doesn't happen again. That's been a narrative.
Why do we have to front that bill? Why don't the Germans front that bill? Why are we fronting that bill?
Okay, it's young Republicans.
Because 70% of fucking Republicans, 80% even last year, and the majority of Democrats up until the last like 10 years have been in favor of Israel.
It's down quite a bit.
Americans were in favor of this shit.
Well, yeah,
I thought it was down to like a third of Democrats.
No, I just put, this is from Pew. So as of March of 2026, 41% of Republicans have an unfavorable position on Israel. 57% of Republicans ages 18 to 49.
It's that whole ethnic cleansing thing.
Most Republicans that are below the age of 49, 57%, have a negative opinion of Israel. You're right, 50 plus, it's only 24%. So the old kind of Republicans have a much more favorable view of Israel. But overall, I mean, this is a massive collapse. If this is from March of 2026, and it's already, I guess, what support would be down to 59%.
Yeah, because you got to remember
the
left
right now.
The left they made this entire situation regarding Israel
56%, and the highest are still 75%. So
let's go to Riddell, and then I think Bam wants to jump in. I want to make sure he gets a chance as well. Riddell.
Yeah, but the biggest point when it comes down to it regarding the current sentiment regarding Americans right now is that the left, of course, they tend to be a little bit morally loaded, and Israel's losing the moral battle in every sense of the word. So we understand why that's declining. And the right, what is the big thing that they've been focusing on? America first. And there's no way they can win that argument in a war that is one of the most unpopular since the Vietnam War, especially since both situations as of recently regarding the deal, the ceasefire deal, were affected because of Israel, the start of the war, and then Israel with Lebanon. So this is only going to go down, and this is only going to become more unpopular, which gives a lot of credence to eventually making. I would probably wait until the 2028 elections, because I do think there's enough like Republican people in Congress, and I do think Trump has an invested interest literally in Israel. But I do think the sentiment is going to be very quickly turning against Israel for sure in the next few years.
I think we're about 2 or 3 elections away from that, because like I know we make it a Republican thing, but it's really just a generational thing. My grandparents are 85-year-old black Democrats, and they, like I said, my entire life they've had a "We Support Israel" sign in our yard, not because they know anything about the geopolitics. We bring it up, they say Jesus was from Israel, like, and we like Jesus, so that's all we.
Jews were the original slaves.
That's a good. That's a good argument. It's a good argument.
But as far as but I do think it is generational. I think like if you Republican
let's not go crazy.
They're like so you push it out maybe like I said, like 3 or 4 elections when like baby boomers are like just a few remaining, then you can probably you can probably come out as a stance like, you know what, we're doing a decoupling. I don't really have a strong opinion. I don't think you got to be anti, but I think it's going to be like Israel isn't going to be an issue that relevant.
Yeah, it'll be just another country.
I think that outside of that, bringing it back to what can happen, what I would want to happen with Iran, in an ideal situation, even if you're going to attach some assets, I think they need to be connected to United States owned escrow accounts that we can actually account for what.
JD Vance was saying that, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard that brought up, but that doesn't seem like none of this was negotiated. None of this was.
But we know who's going to own the accounts, though, right?
The Jews.
Sorry, no. Again, the majority of the sanctions
a lot of people miss things
are already in Qatar and South Korea.
I think a lot of stuff is like blanket.
I'm not talking about the sanctions. I'm talking about the private investments.
Oh,
that's what I'm concerned about.
I think a lot of people, again, I don't know if there's there's not too many people that hate Trump more than me. A lot of people miss the point when they think that everything is based on the corruption. He's corrupt because he can do it. It's not his thing though. His thing is just personal aggrandizement. The corruption is just the icing on top.
The cherry on top, yeah.
But yeah, the cherry on top. Yeah, Trump doesn't do everything in the interest of personal wealth gain. He he would like that.
I don't know about that part.
He's not smart enough for that. Like not about
what he
didn't become president. He didn't become president to make money to do crypto. He became president because he wanted to self-aggrandize. It just happens to be that he can also affect his bank.
Also make tons of money.
God, this is a weird argument. Like
I'm saying that like you're saying that like Trump went to war to make
billions
money.
in office.
He didn't become president to make money.
What difference does it make if he came in?
I think him rising his legacy.
I'm not sure if this is a useful argument. We can talk about something else.
Can I say this is
because you need to understand people's motivations to understand, like, because you missed the next step. You're saying that like, oh, Trump's gonna have control over the investment that goes in, like, because he started this war to make money. Not really. He started this war because Trump doesn't know anything about politics really. So he speaks and thinks in slogans. And the concept of peace in the Middle East is a slogan he's thought about probably the last 35 years. And he thinks it will be the coolest thing in the world if he's the person that can accomplish it. So that's why that's the main reason he pulled out of the JCPOA is because, okay, there's a deal in place, but I don't have anything to do with it. And I think I can do something better. I think I can.
No, he hated Obama. That's why he pulled it out of it.
if he was actually able to get Iran into the Abraham Accords and then actually have like a development package that would, oh my God, a development package that was actually good for Iran and good for the Gulf states, and then everybody was economically intertwined, which brought peace to the region, except for the Palestinians and the Lebanese, then, you know, that would be a phenomenal development. I think everybody's really skeptical about the possibility of it.
Yeah, I think it was a gamble. There was a gamble element to it.
That would be a
because no one that went over there to do the negotiations are actual negotiators. Nobody was in contract law. Nobody like the memorandum being a page and a half tells you that like it was Jared Kushner and JD Vance.
It's the Americans not taking the Iranians.
To be fair, JD Vance did
wait.
The
Iranians are sending their negotiators. They were sending their scientists to go talk to Jared Kushner and all that. It's Kushner and them that don't take the Iranians serious.
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't think this is fair. Just because
you don't think it's fair?
I like to dog on JD Vance, but Jared Kushner arguably is the author of the Abraham Accords.
Yeah,
so
that's
just
bad.
Because he's a civilian contractor doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, the Abraham Accords one. Yeah, like the creation of that, right? Precipitated October 7th in the first place.
And has people in the Middle East and North Africa tried just getting along?
Yeah. So
they were doing
getting along and selling their oil.
They were doing fine, and then the Israelis attacked.
I don't know why this assumption here going on against from Zionists, honestly, right? That say, the Abraham Accords will be a good thing. It would be a good thing for Iran to stand on to that. No, it wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Why?
What the? I'll explain why. I'm literally just about to do it. Don't worry. I won't.
No answer to the Palestinian question, mainly.
Yeah, well, hold on. There's multiple reasons for this, right? One, like the reasons why, like any of those leaders have signed on to it, right? Is because this is the generation after the wars around Israel's formation, right? These are the generation that doesn't remember, that wasn't involved in the Nakba, right? Their fathers that were running the country previously, right? All of them were staunch against. You would never allow this to happen, right? But the individuals are in charge. Well, a lot of corruption. Hopefully, we can all agree on that. Within the Gulf states, plenty of corruption. Israel's happy to abide that. But beyond that, it works for the enrichment of the top political class. But like of the people of the Gulf states, all of them are against this, right? Like this is extremely unpopular. The fact Iran has become more popular in the Gulf states, even of them attacking out into those other countries, right? Because they've been fighting for Palestine and for the Lebanese, right? Because the rest of the people are not for this. So there's an assumption that, hey, because we align these states with Western imperial powers, right? Hey, don't attack our vassal state there. That would be a good thing. Why would that be a good thing? Why would you assume that'd be a good thing, right? It would abide an ethnic cleansing. How could that be a good thing? But you say that it is so easy.
It's just a little.
Well, it's not happening to the Jewish people, so it's a good thing. If it happens to the Muslims, it's fine. We'll about that,
dude. The whole thing here is whether or not it's literally how you litigate 3,200 years of history. Whether or not you believe
it's not 3. Stop talking to me about the 3,000 years of history when you don't apply this to any people. You're not even religious like that. So I don't fucking care if 3,000 years ago there was
hold on. If the Irish people were fucking moved out of Ireland,
give the Native Americans their land back. Are we giving the Native Americans their land back? Are we giving the Native Americans their land back?
Fuck them. They lost the war. Who gives a shit? The same way you're losing the war right now.
I don't want to fucking hear anything about Israelis then.
Okay, fine. Then if you don't want to hear the historical argument, here's the reality. You're losing the war to a militarily superior foe.
Hey, Connor, here's the reality. You're losing the war too, bud.
That's what the MOU is.
You can keep saying you're kicking Muslim ass in the Middle East all you fucking want, but you lose every fucking time. And why is it? It's because you want to keep defending. It's because you want to keep defending the Israelis.
Loses.
You want to keep defending Israel.
Are you?
When did you win?
Seriously?
When did you win in the Middle East?
Are we capping right now? Like
no. When did you? You killed a lot of people. You killed a lot of people
in Iraq.
Yeah. You killed a lot of people. You killed a lot of people, but you didn't win. You killed a lot of people. How much money did you spend in Iraq?
How many Iraqis died in Iraq, and how many Americans died in Iraq?
I said you kill a lot of people. But you don't.
No, we didn't. Y'all killed each other.
I think it was like 1 million or something. But
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was like around 200,000. But at the same time, you understand that like 80% of the fucking casualties were done by jihadist militias. They weren't even done by American armed forces.
Why are there jihadist militias in the Middle East?
Why would that make a difference for his argument, though?
There's also
because
I don't
he's
think
saying,
it's fair to say anybody.
Every time you go to the Middle East, you get your ass kicked. It's like,
no,
you guys get
no.
kicked.
I said that's not what I said, Connor. That's not what I said, Connor. That's not what I said, Connor. I said every time we go to the Middle East, you say, yeah, we kick all the Muslim ass, right? Yeah, you kill a bunch of Muslims, sure, but you don't win the wars. You end up losing the wars.
Yeah, we end up
wait, is Saddam Hussein still in power right now?
Losing to
how much money did we lose? How much money did we lose in Iraq? Do we still bitch about Iraq today?
Money's a social.
Do we still complain about Afghanistan today?
Money's a social construct.
Counterpoints.
Like I said, you kill people.
Counterpoints. Can you remind us who's in charge in Afghanistan right now?
Or Syria? Who's in charge in Syria right now?
Afghanistan was a little oopsie. Okay?
Who's in charge in Syria right now?
Who's in charge?
Whoops,
who's in charge in Syria, Connor?
Who's in charge of Iran after we had overthrown?
Look, hey, Prime. At least Libya is stable.
Counterpoints?
Yeah,
who's in charge of Syria?
Remember that Connor thinks.
Who's in charge of Syria right now? Do the Russians still have their naval base?
Who's in charge of?
Do the Russians still have their naval base?
Do the Russians still have their naval base?
Yeah, no, I think they do.
Connor thinks
Syria?
Bomb go boom equal war one. Bomb go boom equal me win war. Fucking 5th grade understanding of war.
No. Well, see, I think you guys have a 5th grade. No, I would like the opportunity to articulate something. I think that you have a 5th grade. I would like the opportunity to say something. I think you have a 5th grade understanding of war. Because the United States doesn't need to occupy foreign nations. What it needs is the oil to flow. And right now, the only reason why the oil isn't flowing is because Trump fucked it up so goddamn bad.
That's still America. You know that, right?
Since the 1970s,
it's still America.
Since the 1970s, the oil has largely been flowing.
This is so
and you're
lazy.
welcome because 70% of your gay ass fucking bedroom is made up of oil shit.
Let me hold on. This is something I hate. This is the lazy. Like I think it's lazy when like everything bad is blamed on Trump, and whenever every explanation of Trump's actions is, well, he's just a narcissist. He's just doing this for his own wealth. Like anything good is like, well, he's just doing it for himself. Anything bad, oh, he's just doing it for himself. All that, like, come on, like. Iraq was not under Trump. Afghanistan was not under Trump. Libya was not under Trump. Syria, partially, I suppose, but most of it was not under Trump. Like
great American wins.
We are perfectly capable of blundering in the Middle East without Trump. Okay, it is not. This is not like Trump is a unique president and blundering in the Middle East.
Those are totally different. Those are
they're worse.
Donald Trump is the one who pulled us out of the JCPOA, and he gives them the ability to enrich uranium, and then goes to war with them for enriching uranium. He seemed to only pull us out of the JCPOA because he didn't like Obama. He wanted to updo Obama and get a better deal than him. And didn't realize that he couldn't possibly do that. And so now
he did fuck up 20% of the oil economy. Even when we invaded Iraq, we didn't fuck up the oil economy that bad.
His ego.
Yeah, if you look into that one particular metric, I mean, Iraq was much longer than Iran. Afghanistan
we don't know that yet.
Way longer.
We don't know that yet.
We don't know that yet.
Ultimately, we don't know, but like I said before, I'm going off of what we have right now because there could be endless speculation. Sure, maybe it gets hot again tomorrow. Possibly. Maybe Iraq happens again. Maybe Trump is like, oh, I'm going to go one up Bush. Who knows? It's possible. But I'm saying that
he does keep saying if the Iranians don't comply, we're just going to bomb the shit out of them.
I'm aware. My point is that once again, it just feels lazy to me, and it also feels. Not only does it feel lazy, but it feels like very intentionally like election brained, like there's some kind of hidden motivation here when it's like, well, it's just because Trump is terrible at it, as opposed to taking an honest view and saying, well, this is just unfortunately a terrible action, and one last blunder in a long string of U.S. military blunders in the Middle East, going back to like the big one, starting with George W. Bush. When it came to Iraq, when it came to Afghanistan, Libya is still fucked to hell. Syria, I guess we put some Al Qaeda affiliates in there. I guess that's a little bit better than Bashar al-Assad or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Al Qaeda's in charge of Syria.
And then who gets counted here? And then it led to this.
They're wearing suits now.
Yeah, I guess you go back to that. And then Iraq, we handed that country. Yeah, we took out Saddam and then handed that country over in influence to the Iranians. Do you want to talk about Iranian power?
They're still selling us oil, so we don't give a shit.
Who runs Syria right now, guys?
There's nothing comparable to like dating back to like there's a why that leads directly back to Trump's action. Like, why did we take this bad deal? We took this bad deal because the oil reserves are about to run out. Why are the oil reserves about to run out? The oil reserves are about to run out because we started a war with Iran that led to them closing the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah,
why did we start a war with Iran that lead to them closing the Strait of Hormuz? Because we had threats of them having a nuclear weapon. Why do we have threats of them having a nuclear weapon?
Because Israel
pulled out of
the JCPOA.
Well, all of this actually started because humans evolved. Bam.
Donald J. Trump.
If we want to go all the way back.
Yeah, I don't know how you could undermine.
And then the why that we pull out
actions.
of
I think that was
the
kind of wild,
JCPOA because Donald Trump hates Obama and probably black people as a whole.
Thank you, my listening library, for $5. He does hate black people. Trump would probably own the investments himself and say his children's. And say it's his children's. Own the investments. I think he means like because a little while ago. I think he means like 300 billion. Like holding the account. I think that's what he means. But thank you, my listening library.
No,
that's my money.
Sorry. No, I know what he's referencing.
Okay.
My listening library is referencing the conversation that happened earlier where there was like private investors. I think a couple people made the point. Riddell, I think, was
the
one
private
of them.
investors.
Private investors in the U.S. are going to try to invest into companies within Iran or whatever. Which I'm sure this. I mean, this is what happens every time there's some kind of like. You should see the shit we bought in Ukraine. We should look into that. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, this happens. US,
so much.
We invest in shit, right? The Soviet Union collapses, and we put a McDonald's in there the next day.
Yeah, and I do think there's a difference.
When you're going through when you're going through your list, do you think that Donald Trump literally went to war just because he thought Iran was going to get nukes? Like that's why he went.
That's part of it.
Well,
there's multiple things going on.
No, it's not. I wouldn't say it's part of it. I don't think it's part of it.
You don't think there's any part of it at all?
No,
I understand. I understand it. I think it's part of the factor, but I also think yes, I do believe that. Well, not even think. I know that it was related to Israel. Like he even admitted as much. Israel reached out and said that like, hey, we're about to do this, and you would be so awesome. You'd have the biggest dick in the room if you.
Some speculated that Israel did it, and there's also. Join.
So. But it's not just that though. Like again, I just want to be fair and give all context. You also have to put this on the back of this was like what just maybe a few weeks out of the Venezuela situation where Trump thought that like, hey, like these military bombing strikes are really easy. There's like
that was a crazy success. Yeah, he was a
so yeah, I think he was like, wow, I can just do that again.
Well, you're right. That's a much easier objective.
No, hold on, Bam. You're right that I think that that was a major deciding factor in his like boldness to make the decision because he was like, look, Venezuela was so successful, like,
and they told him they could just strike the leadership, and they did.
Yeah, and so and then you have Trump who does have
there was kind of no
Midnight Hammer, like there are things that were like I think give confidence to this, and then you have Israel say, hey, like, I don't know how much of this is. My understanding this is
in and out 20-minute adventure.
It was basically like a Rick and Morty kind of situation, and they came to him and they're like, "Let's just fucking do it," and then they did it, and then oh shit, it's a little bit more involved. That's my understanding. But I think Donald Trump. There's
a reason I brought that up.
Right. But the underlying motivations, I think, for Trump are going to be largely in line with most of the security advisors that are telling him the same shit they've been telling every other prior president, which is, look, here are the security challenges being caused by Iran. This is the problem. And if they get a nuclear weapon, this is why we did Stuxnet. This is why we did Midnight Hammer. Like, if Trump didn't care about the nuclear bombs, why did he do Midnight Hammer, which was very specifically the nuclear bombs?
This is okay. So like, this is the issue, right?
I hate making about Israel.
Is that you? I mean, unfortunately, this thing is about Israel. I know you guys don't want to talk about Israel,
That's a big
but
part of
this all
it.
ties back in. Like, I'm sorry.
I brought it up multiple times.
I'm not talking to you. I was talking like a Redell or
okay.
kind of like.
Okay, but you're a little bit too much in the you're a little bit too much on the other end though. Yeah.
No.
You're a little bit too much on the other end.
Yes. Because
you're saying that nukes had nothing to do with it.
Let Ali talk.
I'm on the other end because every time we talk about it, we try to put Iran or we try to put Hamas or we try to put Hezbollah in this vacuum. Every time we talk about this conversation, and then when we bring it back to Israel, it always ends up happening is we end up minimizing everything that has to do with Israel because for some reason no one wants to talk about it because it is a big part of
every. My issue.
We talk about it all the time. Why?
We talked about strippers 2 weeks ago. And we brought up like the strippers are Israeli insurgents. Like I'm just saying it happens every week. No, I'm saying that the Prime has a problem.
I mean, this specific subject has everything to do with it.
I'm sorry because problem with Israel.
Ollie, you said that you don't think the nuclear weapons have anything to do with it. That's the contention I'm having. Yeah. I have no doubt that Israeli security and like mentality is in large part responsible for the actions being taken. But you've got to admit, like the whole we're worried about Iran having a nuke. That comes into play based on all of the U.S. actions going past 20 years.
Not really, because we did Operation Midnight Hammer, where we apparently got rid of their ability. We set them back years.
Obliterated.
So we did, or totally we sent a Moab, or we didn't, We either obliterated or we didn't. So the issue is that
I said at the time we didn't.
Okay, I know. Well, okay, you said at the time we didn't, but the president said we did, right?
I'm sure he said that. Yes.
So we went in. We dropped the bomb.
Yeah, hyperbole, exaggeration. You know,
Israel asking for help because they couldn't. They didn't have bombs.
Best donuts in town. What does that really mean?
So yeah. So then now we have another issue where they're like, okay, listen,
to a donut shop. You agree, right?
Kind of.
So the Moab doesn't work.
Go ahead, Ali, please.
Yeah, the Moab doesn't work, right? Correct, so then a few months later, well, what do we do? We already did the bomb. Israel asked us for help and we supported, but no, now we have to go to and bomb Iran directly, right? We have to be engaged in a war like more directly. We're killing civilians. Well, now we want to stop, right? Now what's happening is Israel and their politicians are flipping. The secretary of whatever Ben-Gvir or whatever his name is flipping. All these people are flipping.
Did you see what he said? Did you see what he said, by the way, on Twitter?
Yeah. I saw. Yeah, for every one kid in Israeli mother shed a thousand Lebanese mothers. Yeah, fuck that guy. But so now what's happening is we want to leave, right? We shouldn't have gotten in. This is our out. We want to leave. But now we're not going to be able to leave because any negotiation we want to have, well, we have this ally that is going to fuck around with the negotiators. It's not gonna listen to us. Right now, they're not listening to us. We said stop fucking with Lebanon, right? And then they didn't listen to us and they continued to bomb. So now the strait is closed again because Iran's like, hey, listen, we told you guys this. We run shit right now. Iran's in their bad girl era. Okay, it's their shit. They're making the calls. And our ally is fucking with our negotiations, and you guys don't want to talk about that because you're sick of talking about Israel. But this is literally what's happening because of Israel. We literally went for them. We are literally not able to get out because of them. So yeah, we have to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Let's let Redell in and then Bam.
I just want to be clear. The only reason why I went down my argumentation is to outline that Iran also is not someone which is also bad, basically. That's the only reason why I tried to make that vacuum argument. However, I do agree. I'm also in line with there's no way you can talk about this without Israel. I completely agree with that. And it is
to be brought up. We've said Israel more than Iran in this conversation. Like
no, because Iran isn't really like
I'm not one of those people that's convinced that America in particular would have gotten into this if Israel didn't say so. I'm being honest. I don't think we would have done anything.
No, I mean they said as much.
Exactly.
They said as much that Israel said, we're going, are you coming or are you not?
Right.
And they said that they tried to pull the same stunt with Obama and Biden, and Obama and Biden both told Israel to go fuck itself. And then Israel didn't have the balls to do it by themselves. So they said as much within like 48
we're talking about how we want to handle the Iranians with this, but the issue is with handling the Iranians in this.
Smarter than Trump. Right.
Yeah, we want to talk about how we want to handle Iran in this, but like it's
he's smart. Even Biden with his brains leaking out of his ears, right, was still not as stupid as
the
Trump
auto pen was smart. I don't know.
Absolutely, exactly.
Yes,
That guy,
the auto pen was mightier than the sword.
That guy was smart. Even, and I hate Biden, right? Even him, who was not stupid enough to drag us into this mess.
Did you vote for Kamala?
And bam. No, I didn't.
Yeah, wow.
And,
fucking son of a bitch.
And Bam won't ever
He's genocidal.
let me forget it. Don't worry. But yeah,
he's pro-genocide.
But I think that I agree with I agree with you, Ali. This is just my personal beef with how the rest of our conversation go. If we didn't talk about Israel as much as we did, I understand you're not bringing it up as an irrelevant thing. I just hate that it always goes here. That's just my personal gripe.
I understand that.
But I do want to be honest. Like as far as pulling out of this deal, the issue is Israel does have a consistent plan. Israel's goal is regime change, and they haven't shooken from that from the first thing. And they're like, and Trump's like, oh, this is actually kind of hard. I want to take my ball and go home. And Israel's like, we're in the shit now. Like, no, this is we're supposed to be going all the way to regime change. Like, we need to bomb Carg Island. Like, I don't care about the global ramifications. Like, we want this regime gone. And the reality is you can't do that from the sky. And Trump is a coward who's gotten 15 Americans killed, but he's way too big of a coward to actually put boots on the ground realistically, because he knows.
Is that cowardice?
But
he's not going to be on the ground.
Are we not going to have? Are we not going to have to?
Also, he's very frightened about the elections. If he had Venezuela type numbers, he would put boots on the ground. I swear to God.
But we're gonna have to put boots on the ground, or we're gonna have to concede from everything. Like it's.
No, I think we're already conceding everything.
Yeah, we're not doing boots on the ground.
But then here's the thing. Here's the problem. But here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that is, like, Trump has said, is like, if Iran doesn't play nice with Israel too, right? It's not a one-way street. But like, if Israel keeps doing shit in southern Lebanon, and Iran stops playing nice and stops, like, then we have to go. He said he's going to bomb again, and we're going to keep bombing until we. So like, we're kind of stuck there, right or wrong?
Yeah, he might do more bombs.
Well, he even
do you guys actually see an exit plan? Is what I'm asking. Do you see either Israel or Hezbollah or Iran stopping from anything?
We're literally going to give them everything they want, and we're going to be fucking trying to get Israel to fucking chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Okay. If that's what you think, do you think Israel's going to chill out?
They might not.
No, probably not.
So then, if they don't chill out, we continue in, because they are our ally.
No,
they are our ally.
What I think would happen,
we have a
Israel,
terrorist group on the other side.
Hold on.
Yeah,
if Israel didn't chill out, I don't think we're going to be like cutting off. Like, you're not going to see a press conference where they say, "Oh, Israel wouldn't chill the fuck out, so we're cutting off aid." But you're going to see some like pretty spicy fucking shit come out. Yeah, like it won't be. We won't get all the spice, but the spice will happen in back doors. Absolutely.
Yeah, Israel, they still understand the power. Like, the U.S. is still a superpower. They understand the relevance of having the United States ally. Like, they're gonna fight and they'll fuss, but they're like, there's a threshold where they like figure out how to do their stuff like chiller.
Trump's already talking a little bit of shit.
I don't think that's the case. I think the Israelis have it to the point where, like, they know that they're going to have this kind of, at least from the American government, for right now, an infinite support. I don't see the American government laxing any support for Israel.
So I want to use this. Okay, our friend Bam, right? He's still my friend too, even though, my God. But like my friend Bam said that we've mentioned Israel more than we've mentioned Iran. Okay, all right. Let's try to like circle this back. Israel's going to come up again, absolutely. But so let's try to circle this back, right? To that last question. How do we get out of this, right? And we've been touching on this just now, right? Like, because, part of the deal is that, like, hostilities end in Lebanon, and then Israel has been trying to sabotage that. They just killed 80 people in an offensive because they said "fuck you" to America. Let's remember that, conservatives. But anyway, but still, I'd like to understand. Okay, you guys don't like the deal. That's fair, right? The deal is. It's a deal, all right? It's something. So then, how would you get us out, right? And I actually really want like serious answers, like the best that you can do, right? And I know none of us here are anybody, right? But like, if you were in position of power, like, how would you guide us out of the situation? If it's not through this deal, like, lay it out, some practical steps. Let's start with Lactoid.
I said earlier that like this is pretty much the deal that like can get us out. Like this is kind of like a best case scenario. On top of that, we're probably gonna have to cut off all aid to Israel. I don't see any chance of them chilling out, and there's gonna have to be like a full pressure campaign on them to actually get them to pull out of Lebanon. So
okay, Lactoid.
My proposal would be, if I was going to try a serious proposal, it would be us going to Iran and saying, look, you know, we're not going to give you money here on this. This is a non-starter. But what we are going to do, and you got to, you know, really open up the Strait of Hormuz for us here on this one, is we're going to basically give Israel an ultimatum where they got to pull out of Lebanon. Otherwise, their future relationship with the U.S. is going to be on the line, specifically when it comes to our funding of them. You know, we're still going to be friendly or whatever, but I mean, this is getting pretty ridiculous. And also the settlements in the West Bank. I think that's going to be an incredibly appealing deal for the Iranians, and you know, go from there.
Would you lift sanctions?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, all the sanctions, or just like some of them, and then have like more for negotiations later on or something.
The Trump
I mean, I would lift as few as I could to get them to agree to what I wanted, right? Like if it took all the sanctions to get them to stop, then I would. But I prefer to have some negotiation chips left over if I could.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Bam.
Yeah, I don't think the Trump administration is strategic enough to know the difference in what some sanctions do versus others. They just kind of work in blanket all or nothing things because they're like, you know, they're just simple people, unironically. As far as what I would do, realistic, or what they're gonna have to do. Forget about what I would do. I think that they're going to have to, the same way they've offered a huge bone to the Iranians, I think they're going to do the same to Israel. I think they're going to make some offer to increase defense funding. So Israel has a why to that they can like basically assurance that they'll be protected from Lebanon, so they can pull out. They're going to offer some extra $1 billion in funding to them. BB's going to take it back to his people and take it as a win. They'll shake hands on it. I don't think, like I said, so you're talking about stopping funding. No, I think we're going to actually increase. I do think that the Iranians, like, yes, there's the theocratic element. There's the like, oh, you know, we're willing to take it their element. That's a real thing. But the Iranians also have an interest in the strait being open. Like them doing this is like mutually assured destruction. They also want to sell their oil because their economy is beyond crippling. I think their inflation rate's at like 9% a month, something, or 14%. I can't remember. It's an insane rate per month. There, a month-over-month inflation rate. So they are hurting, and they do want to sell their oil. So the ability to do so, especially unsanctioned, would be a major benefit to them, because again, they can show the paper saying they're going to get the 300 million. I think their negotiators are probably smart enough to realize, like, oh, we're going to advocate for this, but I don't think they're planning on getting that money. But they're planning on selling a lot of oil, making probably 5-6 billion. Yeah, I think someone was saying like a day or a week, some crazy amount of money that they'll make from that. And then let's say for as far as the U.S. interest, once they can get the strait open, the gas isn't going to go down immediately, no matter what they say. They're going to take some small steps to try to slow steps to build the reserves back up. They're not going to do it too fast, because then that'll spike up gas prices even more. But they're going to try to pivot towards something else. Arguably, it seems crazy that war would be the response, but arguably it seems like Marco is prepping something related to Cuba to get people's eyes on something different. And then they're going to try to go into election season and bring it back to affordability.
Let's go to our friend Corey.
So yeah, I think actually what Lactoid or even Bam proposed are pretty decent. I'm not opposed to them, but actually I would go back to my opening statement of like, so even though I think just about everyone here unanimously agrees that this is a bad deal, or rather this memorandum of understanding is a bad deal. But this is largely for people like Gibbs to spin into something positive. So like I'm pretty confident that no matter what, Gibbs will be able to spin. This represents a win for the United States. But as I said in my opening statement, I think pretty much it would have been the appropriate strategy to just withdraw, even though that would be seen as a loss or considered a loss, and you can't really spin that as a win. But I think a country should be able to recognize when they have lost and when they make a mistake, because that at least shows some level of self-awareness. And I think that should be, making a mistake is totally valid. Losing a war is valid. You recognize when you lost. That would have been my recommendation.
Let's go to our friend Counterpoints.
I would seize Karg Island and the southern coast of Iran. Then I would airdrop endless Starlink terminals and AK-47s and small arms into Tehran. And then I would have not the Houthis. I would have God damn it. What are they?
The Kurds?
The Kurds, thank you. I would have the turds
Shout out the Kurds.
come from the west, and then depose the Iranian regime. So then we'll finally have peace in the Middle East.
I'm imagining this is a joke, so
it's 70%
kind of a joke. That's what
it's too.
Connor is a neocon now.
I'm getting screwed over.
It's too risky. It's too much blood. It's a better plan on paper than it is in reality.
Connor's a neocon now.
Okay, so then what about a better plan in reality?
Then do the deal now, but still work with Iranian dissidents in order to get Starlink terminals and small arms into position so you can finally overthrow the government eventually.
Okay, all right. Let's go to our friend Modell.
A lot of interesting things that were said. I would also, at the very least, do something about the private investment. I don't trust it. At very least, make it much more transparent on who's investing and where they're investing at. I do think leveraging Israel in this conversation is important. Taking away aid. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows here, is there like elections coming up for Israel?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's true. And Bibi is slated to lose as well.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting leverage point that, I'm sure Bibi wants Trump and MAGA's endorsement. So that's another big leverage point to use against Israel as well. And then, of course, in regards to the peace plan and the border peace and all that BS, you can leverage that against Israel too. So there's a couple leverage points that you can use to potentially remove them from Lebanon. Also utilizing this, like the Israel point, you could also maybe make some type of nuclear agreement because there's nothing right now. So maybe some baseline. Maybe you can agree that instead of like Iran, you kind of controlling the strait, whatever that means, maybe having a mediated force, whether it's Qatar or Pakistan, also be involved in that. I think that would be good. So, Iran can't close it whenever they feel like it. And then, of course, what America has to do on our side is win the midterm so Congress can do their fucking job. And we should use more green energy. Oil is overrated. So there's a couple plans.
Make Elon Musk score $3 trillion.
Let's so Tom, I guess you already said your piece on this, and let's go to our finale.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that would fix actually everything is the one thing no one said, which was Palestinians need a
nuke
state.
Israel.
No, it's really simple. Palestinians need a state. Palestinians don't have a state. This goes on forever. There's a reason why the Abraham Accords. Yeah, I know. There's a reason why the Abraham Accords didn't work, because in signing those, the Palestinians were the ones who got left out. Yeah, sure, there was peace amongst all these other greater countries, but then we still have this one country to talk about. And until we solve that problem, until the Palestinians have a state, until we stop ethnically cleansing them and kicking them off their lands, and then this is just going to keep going. Like, people aren't going to stop. The solution to this would be give Palestinians a state, and then you won't have any problems.
Do you think they want a state? Or do you think
we still have problems?
Yeah, I think
we'll have some problems.
We still have some
we might have
problems.
less problems.
Most people don't want a two-state solution, though, so it's hard to do that.
Yeah, lots of
wait, hold up,
wait.
wait. This whole thing. Most people know they would have to get one, right? Everyone would have to get one, and if both sides want to keep fighting, we need to stay out of it. At a certain point, like we're in the Middle East running defense and being the cops, and it's not working. It's costing us fuck tons of money. It's costing us lives. It's costing like get out. We'll focus on us. China, all these people, they're focusing on them. They're not doing wars all over the world. They can just, we can do the same thing. We can have trade agreements with people. But if people want to blow themselves up,
let's harvest organs from political dissidents.
Actually, that sounds very Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm actually pro U.S. World Police. I was about to say,
yes.
Yeah, I know it's like cool to be the isolationist.
So when is America going to focus on itself? Because I feel like Americans are broke, but we want to sit here and be world police when we can barely police ourselves within our own country right now. So what are you
talking about? The United States is literally the most peaceful it's ever been.
The United States right now is the most peaceful it's ever been.
Yes, it is comparable to 1960s levels of violence.
Violence and peace are two different things. I mean, we might not be less actual violent, but I don't think
I understand.
We're on the brink of
we are literally statistically as peaceful as we were in the 1950s and 1960s.
About violence again.
We weren't that peaceful in the 1950s and 1960s.
Yes, we were. We were literally at half the violence that we were in the 1990s.
The 1990s
violence isn't
spike in
violence.
In the 1990s, the violence rate was 10 per 100,000. The current homicide rate is 5 per 100,000.
But you have the drug evidence. That has nothing to do with peace. Like people dying isn't the biggest factor for peace.
Yeah, all the people in the immigration camps, I doubt they're saying it's peaceful.
I would say all the people during the Jim Crow era would also argue that it was not peaceful for them. But okay, whatever, we're good.
What's your definition of peace? Peace is a lack of violence. We are arguably at one of the lowest points of violence in American history.
Some other time we can make it another topic, and we can actually have some sort of threshold for peace, whatever that might be. I really don't know. Okay, so I heard a lot of different things here, right? Like Lactoid talked about we're not going to give you money for restitution, but we will have a strongly worded letter to Israel. No, you said actually no, would cut off. We would cut off. You're saying we would seriously cut off money.
My point is to some extent, Iran is engaging in collective punishment here. They're basically saying the whole world doesn't get resources if Israel and America don't back off. And so, if we back off and we say, okay, we want nothing more to do with this, and Iran keeps it closed just because of their conflict with one nation, I think at this point, doesn't this justify every other country to intervene?
Hold on. We gotta. This is important. This part's important, right? Closed and open, right? Get tossed around here a lot, and it doesn't really make sense.
Okay, I understand.
Sure. What Iran has talked about, right, and what they're still talking about, is setting up a toll system. Where you come through, you pay $2 million, right? And if you have 1 million barrels of oil, that's like $2. That's like $2 per barrel. So which is cheap, I think. But anyway, they're talking about setting up. They're not saying, hey, we're gonna end traffic. In fact, they want the oil to flow. That would give them more money altogether.
Why should they get a toll?
I was about to say the Saudis. Why should the Saudis and Kuwaitis?
Why shouldn't the Saudis and the Abu Dhabi? Why shouldn't they get a toll?
They can feel free to
No, this is a natural waterway. This is dumb.
No, we can just start. It's an international crime for them to toll.
Yeah, this is crazy. Hey, look, if you want to cross the Pacific, you better start paying America some money, okay?
First of all, that's how it was before. That's literally how it was before. To use
no, I don't think it was. I think it was literally without toll, and that was one of the things Hassan Piker was saying.
No, actually,
Hassan was like, "Oh, the Iranians were so moral for not charging a toll for this water."
No. You understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about before the current world order, right? When we were doing massive trade, under the British Empire, it costs money to move these things across, like especially like protection,
Where all
right?
of them didn't have clothes.
They're like it costs money to
Protection
move
from
across
them.
the major waterways. Yeah, that's part of it too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just
So
modern.
Iranians
It's
providing
still
protection.
protection.
and I was hey, and the Iranians were always fine with a non-told Strait of Hormuz until they were attacked. Let's not forget. That's how we got into this, right? But still, in any case, right? But even if you disagree with the toll, I don't care if you disagree with the toll, right? I don't care, right? What I'm saying is like we have to be careful when we're talking about open and closed. It is open if they say, hey, everyone's just got to pay and to go through, right? Just like, you pay to go, I believe you pay to go through like the Suez Canal in Egypt, right? Like Egypt fought for control of the Suez Canal. And
that's not a natural waterway though. That's different.
Who
They
cares?
built that.
Whatever. But now they,
because that shit that wasn't there before and then they built it.
You keep asking, you're asking me about this as if like it matters to me whether you like it or not. That's not the question I'm talking about. Whether it's open or closed, it is open, just like the toll highway close to me, right, is open. If I don't want to pay it, then I don't cross.
No, but
it.
I understand what you're saying.
Open.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that in my mind, a natural waterway is only open if you can just use it, right? So if you have a natural waterway, in this case that's bordered by multiple countries, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, all these countries border this. Yet, like Oman, they all border this, and they all have a lot of assets in that area. This idea that Iran could just say, like, actually, all of you on the other side of the little sea here, all of you got to pay us a toll in order to move your shit out. That to me feels just like extortion.
Are
and
US
so
national parks
it is extortion.
Open even though you have to pay to get into them?
No, hold on. I said waterways. If we're talking about like American sovereign land,
waterways.
Let me make it very like comparable. We should not be charging the Canadians to use Lake Superior. That'd be fucking ridiculous, and I don't think we are. If we are, that's a problem.
Should charge them.
No. We should absolutely Lake Superior.
Use Lake Superior.
We share Lake Superior with Canada. They got a whole
There's
long
a lot
border.
of water agreements, I believe, with the Great Lakes.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of water agreements. We're not charging them a toll.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, a waterway is different from land. Like you can't charge.
Yeah,
okay,
basically.
so you haven't.
Yes.
So no. But I'm saying like in terms of like how we should treat them. You're saying that like land, that's okay if you can charge for the use of land, but not
your
waterways.
land. Yeah. Because I see like a country owning land as like, okay, this is like their sovereign territory. As long as we're going to agree with the concept of nation states, it makes sense. It makes sense that that's a naming thing. I don't want to charge Mexico tolls for shipping their shit to fucking Cuba.
You have to live on land. You can't live on water.
Yeah.
So
now I agree.
International waterways, like it has to be open.
And I agree. Like there is like international understandings of territorial waters, waters that extend out a certain period, and that can be subject to dispute. Mm-hmm. But the Saudis and the Qataris and the Bahrainians, they all have the same expectation if we're going to establish these waterway rights. And again, why does Iran get to claim sovereignty over the whole?
They're the big dog.
Oh, hold on.
They have the force to do it.
Now this is a purely might makes right argument.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to roll with that,
what's being used against them is might makes right. So they're retaliating with might makes right.
Hunt. Again, I'm not for might makes right argument. But then I'm also not for them being attacked by the U.S. and Israel.
No, me neither, brother. Which is why when you asked me what I'm proposing doing, I'm saying, look, make it clear to the Iranians that we're not going to get on board with this shit anymore. But they need to stop extorting all of the countries that had nothing to do with it.
Well, I was about to say the might did make right, and the might across the world, like the big dogs came to agreement and said that, hey, you know what? The ocean is kind of just open territory. You can't tell somebody
they can't enforce that anymore. Iran proved they can't enforce that anymore. They're done.
Oh, they can. We can enforce it if we want to.
Americans can't.
Americans don't have the
time.
They
could. They're just not going to go to the extent to where
that's
they would.
the same thing.
The problem is, it is the same thing. The problem is that
those are huge meaningfully different things.
No, they're not.
It's a huge difference between something that I don't.
They can't, and they're not going to because they can't. Is the same.
That we can.
No, they're not. Hold on, they're not different. We could literally nuke any country anytime we wanted to stop them from doing anything.
We can't nuke
but
China.
we're not going to, which means that it is a. your limits are based on what it is that you're willing to do, and based on the resources that you're willing to put towards that. That is what you can do, is always based on that.
I think those
the point is that even on top of that, the United States, Donald Trump has even said that he's like trying to negotiate with them to where he's also going to get a percentage of the toll, and he's going to let them toll people going through there, and he'll get a percentage of it as well. Like it's
Hill as in him or Hill as in America.
I think America.
I think he
is what he was saying.
He said 20% of all. He said 20% of all oil that comes out is taxed. 20% of all oil, right? Yeah, a ridiculous thing that comes out. Yet another ridiculous thing that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, right? But like that would be so much worse. Correct, right? Because you're the guardians of the Strait of Hormuz. Crazy, right? So I mean, I don't know, man. This is just
compares it to the Panama Canal. That's that he doesn't.
Again, we built that.
Well, that's how it gets talked about.
Yeah. I think there's such a fundamental difference to me between like, okay, we have land here and we're going to build like a project on it, and then we're going to charge people to use this thing because it's about it's that like you made this thing that people can benefit from. It would make more sense to profit off of that, as opposed to you come into something that's already there. In this case, like a natural waterway, and you say like, hey, despite the fact we've all agreed that there's like certain water territorial rights, yours don't matter because we can lay more mines along the Strait of Hormuz. And again, as somebody else pointed out, multiple people pointed out here, it's not the oil mostly isn't even going to us. Like
China. That's not how global oil markets work.
I understand, but what I'm saying is that like what I'm pointing out is there's a lot of other countries here. There's a lot of other countries here that are suffering more, like the oil shortages in East Asia are much worse.
Those are our allies.
Than anything that we're suffering from.
Yeah, but we would
China's not suffering the way they thought they would, right? Like,
it's going to be offset a little bit.
Talking about, China's the ones getting the whooping, right? No, that's not the case. China,
they're getting a little whooping.
China is very well insulated. China has a diverse energy mix. Right. And they have, just like our friend Waddell's been saying this entire time, they've been investing into green energy a lot, right? But even more than that, they have a very diverse energy mix. They aren't
not getting into wars and wasting money.
In the end, China has come out ahead. Right? Can we? I wonder if we can do this, right?
Yes, they're doing
the world stage,
good right
now. China has
now.
come out ahead by not bombing themselves into this, by having their greatest enemy expose their weaknesses in military combat, right? In front of for the world to see, by weakening them, by making them by America making itself look stupid, and China just sitting back and looking like the adult. Can we agree that China came out ahead in this?
Out of the big three powers, China is. We had this conversation. If the aliens came down today, the greatest leader to speak to would be the Chinese leadership. You can't trust the American leadership. You're not talking to the Russians. You're talking to the Chinese.
Yeah, even Trump is going over to talk to the Chinese.
Go ahead, Connor. Look me in the face and tell me that the aliens are coming and talking to Trump. What the fuck?
Trump.
Sorry, that's an accent.
I'm probably more upset by the truth of your statement than I am skeptical of it.
Yeah, cool.
See, I would cite things like hold on. No, I would cite things like military power, economic size, and all that kind of stuff. But China, when you look at China on the long term rather than the last century, they're probably the longest running stable power in Asia. So I would talk to the Chinese. If I was coming to the world, I would talk to the Chinese as well. Yeah. I'd probably talk to the Americans, but that's just because of the military and the economic shit. But I would talk to the Chinese for sure.
Oh my god, the meltdown in America if the aliens came and talked to the Chinese.
If they talk to Trump or Cook, bro.
I know them. Do you want them to talk to Trump first? Actually,
it's my favorite thought experiment. That's how I determine who's doing good.
Yeah. So, but Lacto, do you agree with me? That
I think China would be more fucked than they are if we didn't push Russia into basically being their gas station. I think that is probably in large part why perhaps they've been able to weather this. But like when you look at like India, for example. They've been struggling. There was massive spikes when the strait closed. a lot of other countries, not entirely our allies, but other countries that are in the area that receive most of their oil from the Strait of Hormuz are going to suffer from this. I think that if we backed off and we didn't commit more military forces and the strait remained closed because of Iranian conflict with Israel, I think that you do hit a certain point where East Asia begins suffering far more than we do. But if you're saying like,
sure.
But if you're saying like right now, just because we are the ones that have put in like $100 billion worth of military, we are the ones that basically have the agreement definitely doesn't look like we came out on top. I think that right now, I think that the U.S. probably we have the most egg on our face over this whole thing. But in some respects, I sort of agree with what you said before, which is like maybe it is a good thing that we get a little bit of this embarrassment before we get protracted into a 20-year war, because maybe some early fuck ups with Afghanistan may have been a little bit better than the sort of false confidence we got from the early victories, leading us to sit there for 20 years. So who knows?
Yeah. Wish you had said that when Bam was here. That would have been great. But still,
bring him back.
Bring him back for that. But yeah, counterpoints. You seem like you had some pushback from me there. Do you still feel that way? That like it's clearly wrong that China does not come out ahead? Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I don't know. China, 20% of their petroleum. Sorry, let me formulate a thought. Mm-hmm. The United States is a net exporter. We had our strategic oil reserves that offset the costs that we were taking as a result of the global spike. So all in all, while $4 or $5 a gallon at the pump is painful, realistically, if we didn't have our strategic oil reserve, we'd be looking at $8, $10 a gallon or something like that. And you actually would see riots in the streets. Weirdly enough, you would see a neoconservative revival as Americans protest, not to stop wars, but to start wars to get the gas prices under control. Yeah. I'm not kidding. I saw footage of that in the 1970s during the oil shocks under LB. Was it Lyndon B. Johnson? No. Under Carter. Under Carter. There were straight up working class people rioting in the street, demanding that the United States seize military control of the Middle East and North Africa in order to get petroleum prices under control. So you might actually see that. Anyways, though, so China is, I think 20% of their net import of petroleum products does come from Iran specifically. That's not even to mention the Gulf states that are also likely a part of their import. So I would say that they probably got fucked harder than we did. The $100 billion, I would have to take the calculation to see how bad they're fucked. But you understand, like the modern civilized world runs on petroleum. So
I do understand.
$100 billion is probably piss in the ocean compared to the global economy.
Yeah, hold on. But here's I have multiple reasons to think this way. One, in terms of this toll, if it does stand, which it might, guys, you need to accept this. It actually might stand. As this has gone along, right? Yeah, ships have been coming through, right? Some the U.S. has snuck through, right? The blockade. Others, but most of them, they just paid the toll. Right, the ones that came through, they just paid the toll, and they in their countries like agreed to pay the toll. And then what were they paying the toll in? They were paying in cryptocurrency and yuan, right? Chinese yuan. We have a situation where yes, in terms of their economy, they took a hit, but again, I don't think it's as big as a hit as you think. And I've seen experts talk about this, and it's just like not. It like, and looking at the results, the actual results after all this time, because we got plenty of time to observe them, right? It doesn't seem like it's taken a massive hit in terms of the economy in the same way. But in any case, right? But even if they did, right? Like in terms of the global, the world stage, how had they not come out ahead? How, like, simply by doing nothing? Well, not even doing nothing, because they've been part of the negotiations. Actually, they've been like, my understanding, they've been like partnering with Pakistan as part of the negotiations of Iran and stuff. But throughout this, they've shown to be a stable government. And again, I hate the CCP. Fuck the CCP. Fuck the CCP. Right? But they've shown themselves to be a stable government that doesn't go off into wild military adventures. They haven't expended their military resources for this, right? Like the U.S. has had to literally take interceptors from different areas. I believe they also took them from Taiwan. Don't quote me on that, but they took them from other areas within the Gulf states, at the very least, right? To protect Israel. They pulled them back from those Gulf states to protect Israel, of course, science masters. So, and then they expose their weaknesses, right? If it wasn't clear before what America was weak to, they know it now, right? They've studied this entire thing. And at the same time, they've been reaching out and making more allies. People have and this is also with the tariff stuff, right? Like, economies have been reorienting themselves away from the United States because the United States has shown itself to be unstable and unserious, honestly. So again, I don't see how China doesn't come out ahead. Did I lie about anything I said there?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying you're lying about anything that you've said, but I feel like this is your perception. Okay. So for instance, like when it comes to the Middle East and North Africa and the Gulf states, yeah, sure, getting the shit bombed out of you by Iran might be disconcerting, and it is the United States' fault. But that's also going to increase purchases from the Gulf states for American tech, like the CRAM systems and the interceptor systems. It's also probably going to, I know this is probably like secret squirrel shit, but it's also going to accelerate the development of like directed energy weapons, because one of the problems that we had here was we were spending like $1 million or $500,000 missile to blow up a $50,000 drone.
Yeah.
So, the economies of scale don't work. The inventory doesn't work. That being said, though, like China, when you say that China's coming out ahead, I'm presuming that they would be like jockeying for the position of world hegemon, but I think they're literally not interested in it. I think that they're more interested in regional power projection than they are global power projection.
And Africa.
But I don't see that.
Money
they've been doing a lot.
How did this not help?
They got money in Africa.
But I don't see that as any different than before. Like, in my opinion, what are you saying has changed? What's changed?
Didn't they just offer a bunch of different countries money after the United States pulled out from USAID and they started offering to replace all of the different things that we were giving to everybody? What they do still seem interested in world hegemony, and mainly not just because they want to be in charge, but more so because they want to weaken us so that we're not able to have as much leverage over them anymore.
I think that's
doing it. I mean, that's kind of always been true. And PEPFAR and USAID. Sorry, real quick. PEPFAR was predominantly in Africa, and China has always been interested in development in Africa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. but Americans, weirdly enough, I've heard
European nations.
Sure, I'm just correcting the presupposition that they're not interested.
Oh, sorry, Vidal, do you want to say something?
I mean, I pretty much agree with Tom. I mean, the argumentation is clearly what they're able to do because of United States withdrawal. So if they're increasing their influence in these areas, I don't see how you can't say that they're trying to grow their overall impact on the world stage. I don't know how that,
because they're doing it differently. I guess they're not trying to be in control. Wait, is it because they're not trying to be in control? They're not doing it through hard power. They are doing it through soft power and assistance through people. So it doesn't seem like they're trying to want to be a world police, but they're still a world player, and in a better way, because it's 2026. Hard power doesn't work. As to your point, we're spending $100,000 missiles to kill $50,000 drones.
Yeah, counterpoint.
Hold on. This is something that's been asserted multiple times in this conversation, though. But something did change my mind a long time ago about this. So in Iraq, I was kind of befuddled that we had spent trillions of dollars, and yet we didn't seize the oil fields for ourselves. Right? Like we spent $1 or $2 trillion in the war on terror, but we didn't get the profit back. But then what I realized was what had happened is Bush's buddies, they didn't spend $2 trillion. $2 trillion was put on the national debt. Right? And so what's going on is in my opinion, the American national debt is funny money for international corporations to provide security for the world economy.
Yes.
That's what it is. And so at this point, though, if the world economy, I think it either is on the verge of surpassing $100 trillion or it's already past $100 trillion, America and its allies are probably representative of 2/3 of that economic pie. That economic activity continues. You're going to get your Funko Pops. You're going to get your, data centers. You're going to get your microchips. You're going to get your Doritos. You're going to get your Mexican Coke and your American Coke. And so for when you're saying like, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. When I think of a not working system, I think of like people getting raped, dying of famine, like all that kind of shit. That's not happening in Europe. That's not happening in the United States. That's not happening.
What about civil unrest? What about your citizens like literally feeling like they can't afford to live?
Do they work? Do they pay their taxes? Do they become?
What if they stop? That's kind of like the window where we're
what if they stop is an important question. And by the way, I think we have a fundamental economic imbalance.
The more important question: what if they can't
where the working class and the middle class are saying, this is no longer fair. We don't like participating in the system, and if you keep this up, we're going to fucking torch the entire goddamn.
I want to keep it in geopolitics
anymore. Yeah. What if they can't?
I want to keep this. I want to keep this in geopolitics. Come on. So I want to. Yeah. Okay. So counterpoints and Tom. At least I don't think your positions are all that far away from each other. Except that the counterpoints are saying they want to be rather than the global power, regional power, right? But to do those things, to become a regional power, they would be doing the things that Tom was talking about, right? They would actually, be going out through the world, right? Be making those alliances with the hopes of one day weakening the U.S.'s influences back with where they are in their local region, right? But going out and getting access to resources in Africa, right, strengthens their position in the South China Sea, right? The Chinese Sea, right? Those things can be married to one another without them trying to be a global hegemon.
Yeah, no. And if I had to guess, my suspicion would be that China would want to. The only hard power projection they would want to do is they would want to reseize Taiwan because they view that as a part of historical China. But after that, they would probably want to go to a tributary system, which is effectively what they had during the imperial period, where all the Southeast Asian countries and all the Western Asian countries, they effectively just have to abide by China's economic and political terms if they want to do business. That's been China's model for arguably 3,000 years.
I mean, don't you think it's kind of concerning that as of recently, China was able to kind of leverage their authority against the United States to the point where we're removing aid to Taiwan? Wouldn't that be a perfect embodiment of the powers changing in real time?
Not really. The reason why I'm saying that is because it was kind of ballsy. If you actually, sorry for being a geopolitical nerd for a second, but if you look at Taiwan, when we look at it, we see an island that's on the immediate outskirts of China, like we're trying to get into Asia and Taiwan's in our way. But if you actually look at China, they have like a barrier reef of a chain of islands that they actually claim, of which Taiwan is a part of that barrier. And so effectively from their geostrategic perspective, their buffer, their barrier has been pierced. And not only has their buffer or barrier been pierced, but this is historically the enemies of the Chinese Communist government, because literally the nationalist government of China escaped to Taiwan. So they want to unify with Taiwan for political reasons, but also for geostrategic reasons. And it was actually pretty ballsy. So for instance, I'm old enough to remember that when China was saber rattling in the 90s, Clinton specifically sailed the American aircraft carrier fleet between China and Taiwan, basically saying, fuck you, this is an international waterway. And that was viewed as quite a provocative move. So I think the American perspective is we're going to try to make Taiwan as porcupiney as possible, as difficult to eat for China as possible. But I actually think that once we get microchips onto U.S. soil, the most advanced generation of microchips, Taiwan's probably going to be a minimal concern for us. We'll have some humanity. We'll say we care about democracy. We'll say we care about democracy and we care about the plight of the Taiwanese people. But if they actually get swallowed by China, we're not going to care.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to care about the microchips more.
We're no longer going to be willing to put resources into it.
So I understand that. I'm gonna go.
No, you go first, Fidel.
I mean, I understand that if we're talking about like, what you provide for me, of course, but I do think there's another element, and you kind of like touched upon it, which I agree with, in terms of like what Taiwan provides us with like positional value, and of course the kind of overall kind of perception of what we are to the world. Because I think you also co-signed the idea of like United States being a military police as one of the strongest arguments, despite Ukraine not being a part of like NATO, for example. If we let Taiwan just go and China have it, isn't that eroding that core concept of United States presence at the world stage at that point? Isn't that completely deteriorated?
It could, but at the same time, like, what are we expecting? So just as an example, like the Chinese
just real quick, you realize we didn't fight against Russia initially when they first went in and started going into Ukraine, right? Like when Obama was in and they started going into Kiev.
Yeah, we just provided weapons.
Even then we didn't do shit. We didn't do anything.
Factoid.
But that's what I'm saying with Taiwan is we will continue to sell them weapons so the Taiwanese can maintain some level of independence.
Real quick.
What?
We totally gave them shit before 2022. We gave them billions of dollars for their shit.
But anyways, the Chinese Navy, what they're trying to do right now is they're not actually trying to build like an amphibious assault force the way that the United States is. What they're doing is they're dual purposing commercial ships, and they have a massive commercial shipping industry. And so they're dual purposing them so they can actually put like missile launchers, troops, ammo, all that kind of stuff onto commercial vessels. But what the Chinese would do probably over the course of like a week is they would just drown Taiwan in human beings, paratroopers, troops unloaded from commercial vessels, missiles fired from commercial vessels. And if they took a huge amount of losses, they wouldn't give a shit. So effectively what would happen is, yeah, sure, the United States military would mobilize, but would we deploy 30,000 Marines or 10,000 Marines or, from, Okinawa in order to fight Chinese People's Liberation Army soldiers in the streets of Taiwan? I think the chances of that is pretty low.
Well, which is why us like keeping our allies currently and having as much global power as possible is really important. And what's going on with Iran, what's going on with like everything that Trump has been doing with our position as the global leader, it's kind of
but if I had to guess,
can you guys hear me? Am I coming through?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make this point and then I'll shut up. If you look at Palantir's commercial is actually like almost marketed specifically to Taiwan, because what's happening is a massive amphibious fleet is sailing towards an island, and then a drone swarm pops up out of the island and then swarms, attacks, and annihilates a fleet before it has the opportunity to land. And so my guess is that Palantir and the United States really probably all we're going to do for the next several decades, as long as China doesn't invade, is we're truly just going to sell them insane weapons technology with which to make China think twice about invasion. That would be my guess.
I think that, all right, so I'll say one thing on this, and then I want to move it back a bit to the conflict here. I have always said, right, I'm anti-imperialist, but like, I think, if a country asks for our help, right, and they're not like a belligerent genocidal state, right, but if they ask for our help, like Taiwan, then it makes sense to support them, right? They have a democracy there, and I don't want that to see a democracy snuffed out. And if that cost us in defense, is simply doing saber rattling of ourselves, right, and also like having bases around there and occasionally sailing American warships around Taiwan, right? Like, okay, all right. I think the Chinese. I I've been wrong on geopolitics before, right? So don't quote me on this one, because I thought the Russians weren't going to invade Ukraine. So that was a big mistake. You can make fun of me. Everyone can make fun of me about that.
Pat isn't the best of us.
I wasn't. No. Sorry. Yeah. I didn't get it from Hassan or anything. Like I thought they wouldn't.
Hassan got it from you.
Maybe.
There you go.
But you can. Yeah. Feel free to make fun of me over that. I got it wrong. But in any case, so the point is that like, China also, like, they have a domestic audience that they have to answer to, right, to a certain extent, even though they're like, authoritarian. And so yes, they say to them, oh yeah, we're going to take Taiwan any second now, right? Just like Democrats say we're going to provide you affordable healthcare any second now, right? They just keep saying that every election year. But like, that's just for the domestic audience. But I think the Chinese administration, right, the CCP, understands that, okay, yes, we could take Taiwan, right, and the math, like the counterpoints laid out. Yeah, would we actually, the U.S. actually like sacrifice 30,000 men for Taiwan, for the glory of Taiwan? Probably not, right? But they also don't want to fight a guerrilla war in Taiwan, like forever. like how many like dead Liberation Army individuals would occur?
Well, it's
right?
the Chinese. They're kind of famous for that, to be honest. So
yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, but like,
I'm joking and I'm not, but like, if you take a look at Chinese military tactics during the Chinese like Civil War, and if you look at Chinese military tactics during the Korean War, it actually seems to be just choke the enemy on mass infantry. So
then why do you think they haven't done it yet? Then
what's that?
Because there's water.
They can do that now. Why haven't they done it yet?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if
the boats. The big thing is the boats.
The rowboats.
No, I don't know. Well, technically, they still have enough commercial vessels right now that they could do it. And probably
there's also planes.
The window of opportunity is getting worse because the FPV drone technology and the drone swarm technology is getting better by the day.
It is. The thing that's fucking them up for a long time is that the Chinese have put extensive amounts of investments into their Navy now. But for the vast majority of time, really up until relatively recently, it was eons and is still behind the U.S. Navy. And we had our shit there. And the understanding was, you can put your infantry on the boats and you're going to sail them over, and they're not going to reach the shore, right? If you try that shit. So if it was like Taiwan was part of China, that might be different. Like if it was actually connected. But there's a strait there, and I think that makes it difficult. One credit I will give to Trump on this. I know we're allergic to that here. The Taiwanese, I think, are in danger and have been in danger, but they certainly haven't acted like it. Their military spending before there was pressure from the U.S. to increase it was absurdly low. It was like 1% GDP. And they were relying, as a lot of countries do, on just the U.S. military umbrella. This is one thing that they were pressured into doing, right? If you're a country that's a threat, where there is a larger adversary threatening to invade you and take you over, I'm a prime. I'm not opposed to having the back of the Taiwanese. I think that they're basically there are people now that want self-determination. Good for them. But you guys have to put some money into defending yourselves too. It can't be just like we give you the umbrella and then you can spend the money on your own shit.
I gave Trump credit for that over NATO, right? Like,
he did the same thing with NATO. But it was also with Taiwan, because they were at measly percent, less than around 1%, I think.
I think Trump has been like overblowing, people taking advantage of us. He's been saying that like a lot. But in terms of NATO, right, and them like not fulfilling the obligations, if that's the agreement that you signed up for, then you should be fulfilling the agreement. They should be increasing the military spending. Fuck that, right?
Yeah, you should be defending yourself too.
Exactly. And usually, I think a lot of defending yourself, in my understanding, for the military spending just means like paying for American weapons, right? Like that's what that means, man. Like,
a lot of it's paying for weapons, but also it's hiring and training personnel. Because one of the things that you want, if the Chinese are going to invade your island, is you want to have enough soldiers to bog them down for a U.S. response. And part of that,
and the Taiwanese are training their civilians for that, by the way.
Yes, they have started as of late. They're getting much better.
Well, and you can see videos of effectively like teenagers and normies training with airsoft, but they're training with airsoft in conjunction with Taiwanese military, like ROTC, Reserve Officer Training Corps, fucking people. And they're doing that because they're basically under the expectation that China may want to unify non-peacefully eventually.
Of course.
I weirdly enough, I don't think there's what China did to Hong Kong. I don't think there's enough of a pro-Chinese domestic population for them to do the same thing.
Not
where
anymore.
like through popular mandate, they just like start like a governmental crackdown on pro-democracy protesters. I don't think there's enough indigenous Taiwanese to demand that.
Well, again, the big difference here, I think, in large part, is with Hong Kong, there was always this expectation of a lease, and then the lease is up. All right, well, then you got to hand it over, and it's essentially, it's Hong Kong Island, but it's essentially connected. It's right there. It's undefensible. Taiwan, different story, right? You got millions of people there. They were more in favor of unification, but the recent polls are pretty damning. Most Taiwanese, I think it was like. Well, I think the last poll I saw was like 11% wanted to live under the CCP, like some tiny percentage now compared to where it used to be, which what it used to be like back in the 80s and 90s, it was much higher actually. So I think at this point the Taiwanese should get their own country, and I think that challenging Chinese power here is the U.S. has our own interest in this, but also. Yeah, I think it's good to give people autonomy and self-determination when the alternative is living under a communist hellscape.
So we've run out of time here, but I do want to ask, and maybe we can do this with outros. But like, so I was watching some program, and they talked about how like this moment, bring it back to the topic, right? This moment will be studied in history as either the start, I don't think the start, but like at least a major point in U.S. imperial decline, right? Like, do you think this is a sign, a big glaring sign of U.S. imperial decline? Or do you think maybe that's overblown? Maybe that's sometimes wars don't go your way, right? Sometimes, you get into a military conflict and, it turns another direction. It doesn't necessarily mean like this is not part of an arc within history, right? I'm under the impression that yes, absolutely, this is a signpost of U.S. military. I don't think there's any going back from this. Like I think like there's no going back after to the day before that we began this war this year, anyway, with Iran. Like the world has seen America's weakness and they're not going to forget it. They can't unring this bell. I think like are the Gulf states, right? Like I said about like those interceptors being pulled out of those Gulf states to head to Israel. They're not going to forget that, right? Like that's like, I mean, I think it's a big fucking deal that like this didn't happen in America. So like, there's not like a big deal for them, but like they were relying on that protection. And that's part of the deal. Part of the whole deal is that America will be protecting them as well. But like, Zionist matches come first. So we pulled the interceptors away from them. That's huge. We have other allies who are watching this, right? I think they also pulled them out of Taiwan. Don't quote me on that, please don't. But I think they also did that as well. But in any case, right? Like that's a big deal to watch you betray your allies, or at least at the very least fail to protect your allies. Even if you don't think it's betrayal, fail to protect your allies. And then of course, they couldn't, America wasn't willing to do what it took, let's say, to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, right? One way or other, they weren't able to do that. Like, I don't think there's any going back from that. Like, this seems to be like a permanent shift. I feel like, they'll be studying this in a century, this moment, right now. But maybe other people feel differently. So I'll give you guys all an outro, and you guys can say your piece. And if you want, you can stick around and talk more about it. If not, that's okay. But I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to leave if they want to. So let's start with our friend Lactoid and work our way around.
Lactoid, you can find me at Lactoid TV on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. The broader I guess the question that you just asked, is America on an imperial decline? I think in some ways, there are natural declines that are going to happen as other powers rise up, which is just going to happen. I mean, the Soviet Union collapsed in the early 90s, and we have really held the title of being the superpower since. But our growth rate just can't match the growth rate of some of these developing countries, and like China, which as of in the 90s was nothing, right? In the 90s, Japan, I think, had a greater economy than the rest of Asia put together, right?
Almost
and now,
more than America at one point before they decline. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and right now, all of Japan is less than, I think, 4 Chinese of the most profitable Chinese provinces, and that's just 4 of them, and they got a whole bunch more. I don't know the exact number, but they got a whole bunch more. That's going to happen. You're going to see, India. You're going to see, I think, in Africa as well. You look at the population of these areas and the increasing power of these areas, and I mean, it's happening. On the other hand, I think we're doing a lot to maintain our imperial prestige, right? I mean, we're still adding countries to NATO. We're still able to influence the politics in other countries. We're still able to, involve ourselves. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it sort of works out, I suppose. But with all these imperial ambitions, there's going to be a cost, and there's going to be a gamble. And I think on this particular question of Iran, it was a gamble that didn't pay off. I think that the story that was sold to U.S. leadership was, hey, there's a real chance that we wipe out the entire Iranian leadership. There's an opportunity here. They're all here in this one building. We can wipe them out, and the Kurds are going to rise up. The people in Tehran are going to rise up, and they're going to fight their evil overlords, and it's going to be glorious, right? They're going to be pulling down statues of the Ayatollah just like they were doing to Saddam Hussein, and that didn't materialize. The Kurds didn't meaningfully rise up. There was no meaningful, real effort at regime change from anybody there, and the Iranians, despite losing militarily, getting their ass absolutely wiped. I mean, that's just true. Right, and all top leadership, nuclear scientists, generals. I mean, the leadership structures just got decimated, but they seem to have held. So, I think this is part of the reason why you shouldn't invade. I think it's part of the reason why you shouldn't throw money at shit like this. I'm being very consistent here. I'm in favor of cutting off all aid to Ukraine. I'm in favor of ending all military spending on attacking Iran, and at this point, I'm also in favor of withholding aid from Israel, which I wasn't at before. But I mean, over time, it's just become clear that this shit is just way too much, and especially now after this Iranian thing, and it feels a little bit ungrateful too, right? You're going to get us involved in this, and then the moment we try to stop it, now it's what, 70% unfavored at this point? No, it's bullshit.
I just looked it up because I didn't want to give out misinformation. No, they didn't remove interceptors from Taiwan. Apparently, we don't have any anti-air batteries there. We did remove them from South Korea, though. They kind of need those. So they were removed. I'll read the South Korea President Lee Jae-myung confirmed that the U.S. military relocated parts of the THAAD system, including interceptor missiles and operational radar equipment, from these parts to go to Middle East. I can't pronounce that. From somewhere in South Korea. That's like a big effing deal. That's a big deal. But yeah, just so you know, I wanted to be correct on that one. All right, let's go to our friend Corey.
Well, I guess to attempt to answer the question, do I think like this is the pivotal, or one of the more pivotal moments in that indicates the United States imperial decline? I'm not so sure. I lean towards I think it's significant, but I don't know that this is like the turning point. But all that to say, I think this is like a data point in that trend of decline in U.S. imperialism or U.S. hegemony. But I think there are other pieces of evidence as well. But I actually disagree with Lactoid's assessment in terms of at least the way I understood it is this is like an inevitability of it's only a matter of time before U.S. imperialism is no longer at the top or it declines. I think with appropriate investment and appropriate strategy, the U.S. can stay on top and can stay as the global hegemony. But from what I understand, or at least by my estimation, the U.S. is not making the appropriate investments. Investments like in education, technology, science. There's, I think, in my mind, a clear anti-intellectual movement in the United States, as in like, defunding educational institutions, as opposed to like China is making investments in education, in technology. And like there are reasons why, I think it's happening more and more of like, Chinese students getting understandably educated in like the best institutions in the United States and then going back to China. But then we also see the increase in Chinese universities and their prestige and their research output in pretty much just about every metric, especially in biotech. And so I think there's going to be a very interesting development there. And also, the clear, at least in my mind, the clear example is also electric cars and green energy. I think it's going to be interesting how it's going to play out of like how the rest of the world is largely embracing electric vehicles. And then you're going to have the U.S. stuck on internal combustion engines because the U.S. does not want to make the investments in the infrastructure to have electric vehicles. Okay, I don't know what you're going to do when Canada and South America and the rest of the world has EVs and the U.S. is still running on gasoline cars. I think it's going to be a very interesting thing playing out because for whatever reason, bad reasons, that Trump is anti-green technology. He's against solar. He's against windmills. You're trying to, I think, revive old nuclear power plants, as opposed to China's making all of the investments in green energy. That's paying off. Other countries are going to China to get the solar panels. Okay. And this issue with Iran only, I think, is going to accelerate that because countries recognize that, at any point, the U.S. can make a bad decision and disrupt the global oil supply. So maybe we should become more self-sufficient and build our solar infrastructure and our green energy. And where you're going to get that, you are probably going to almost certainly get that from China. But if the U.S. made better decisions and a different strategy, I don't think it had to play out that way. Although I'm not saying this is how it's going to play out. I can't predict the future, but that's more or less what I lean towards. So all that to say is like, that's where I guess I disagree with Lactoid. Not inevitability, just with appropriate investments and strategy. The U.S. can stay on top, but it seems like Lactoid doesn't actually have any interest in staying on top. But yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Corey Campbell 84, Twitter, X, YouTube, Instagram, Substack, TikTok. It's Corey Campbell. Connor, Tom, Ali, Radell, Lactoid, always a pleasure. Love you, Brian.
Well, Lactoid.
Can I say one thing real quick in response to that?
You could say two things.
Sure, two things. The U.S. per student, adjusting for purchasing power, spends between $14,000 and $18,000 per student. China only spends $3,000 to $6,000. That's PPP adjusted. So we spend about 3 to 5 times as much as China does on purchasing power adjusted money per student than China does.
And our kids are still dumber.
Wow. Yeah, we know what kids are dumber though.
What? I don't know.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Who said that? Prepared. Well, that was Riddell.
Okay.
Riddell, if you want to expand on that and anything else, the floor
he can expand on this. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are thinking of, but I'm just talking about like the poor schools in the red Republican states.
Okay.
What were you guys thinking?
I thought Lactoid was making a race joke. I was like, what the fuck?
What you guys were thinking?
Lactoid was making a race joke.
You're libertarian, but
what did I say?
If anyone was going to do it, it's going to be Lactoid, but no, it wasn't Lactoid this time.
Yeah.
You thought I was talking about black kids.
I'm an ally, okay?
I
love black people, okay?
I'll be right back.
Lactoid owns a FUBU jacket.
I own a FUBU jacket.
He's of the culture.
Platinum FUBU.
Yeah, Lactoid thinks
for you by him, I
think that's as smart as white kids.
Riddell, please. Oh, sorry. We some people, not me, made wild assumptions about what you were going to say. I thought you were innocent and beautiful, but go ahead, Riddell.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, so for me, I am concerned of a couple of things regarding like how America is going to basically improve their image and their influence internationally. I am one of those people that do believe in spreading liberalism. I am a big proponent of that. I do think it is one of the best ways for people to kind of, live their best lives. So I do want that, but I do think a lot of the ways we've tried it have either been done in nefarious ways or have been done for ulterior motives. Regardless, in this current situation, people have become extremely black-pilled on the idea of America being involved in international situations. In the last couple of years, it's been used in many of talking points, which has been compounded with the addition of social media and media in general. Like, of course, the talking points regarding Afghanistan is brought up all the time for obvious reasons. And it doesn't help that it was like a compounding effort, starting with Obama to Trump to Biden, with people mostly leaving out the context on like why this was so bad in the first place, mainly because of Trump. Of course, the reputation of Israel is probably the worst it's ever been, considering they're our main ally in the Middle East. And that's not going to get any better anytime soon, especially if they don't get rid of Netanyahu and a lot of the crazy people of the far-right Israeli government. So that's really bad. And of course, this Iran war, a war that nobody wanted, was extremely unpopular, is extremely unpopular. And it'll be just something that we completely failed in every sense of the word. So international sentiment has been the worst it's ever been. A lot of people on the left, especially on the like far left, already have bad opinions about America getting involved because they think of like America is trying to, take over the world. And then, of course, the right want to be isolationist and they want everybody else to burn except the United States. So this is not good. And hopefully we do kind of reach a point of like spreading good values, try to do the USAID stuff again, help these countries. I do appreciate stuff like that, but it's going to take a while. But I do think this is problematic in our current period. With that said, the only way to fix this is vote anybody but MAGA in the midterms and vote anybody but MAGA in 2028. And honestly, just never vote Republican again. So with that said, you can check me out, Purple Political Breakdown podcast. I talk politics. I talk with a lot of different types of people, CEO, candidates, and have a lot of fun over there.
Shout out to you. I really appreciate you. Ali.
Yeah, I think obviously we're on the decline. I think globally the opinion is negative. I think domestically it's super negative. I don't think it helps that we don't really have like a political system anymore. Trump came in 2016, kind of rattled it up. There is no more Republican. Right, the Democrats aren't like a party anymore; they're just anti-MAGA. Like you can't have a country that runs on two parties that are just anti each other, and there's nothing really to fight for. Americans don't feel patriotic. I mean, listen, Tom, you can your face, but like, what's the public opinion on Democrats right now? The only reason that Democrats are going to win the midterms or potentially win 2028 is because they're anti-Trump. It has nothing to do with the fact that like Democrats are like a favored party or like people support Democrats or so on and so forth. It's just because they're sick of Trump. And so like once we get the Democrats in party, we're probably going to get more of the same that we've been getting. And that's kind of the issue, is that to like Americans, there is no patriotism anymore. We're seeing all our money go overseas, whether it be war, whether it be aid to other people. We're seeing other countries get, essentially the free shit that we want, right? The free healthcare in the schools. And so like you have now a bunch of people who don't know the difference between socialism, communism, capitalism, any of these things. And they're all communists now because they're like, well, other countries get free shit. We want free shit. We have the most money. We should get some of it and we get none of it. They're broke. They can't afford houses, whatever it may be. And they don't really see a solution other than right now what's given to them is vote Democrat and never vote Republican again. But that isn't really a solution. So I don't know how much like longer the country can handle being like on this cycle, because this is just a fucking going down. Other than that, free Palestine, free Lebanon, decouple from Israel, save yourselves some money, get out of the Middle East, and have a great summer.
Decouple from the parasite government of Israel. Let's go to our good friend Tom, who I'm so happy you're here, and I hope to have you again in the future, friend. Because you're fantastic, you're great. I love your analysis, even when you're disagreeing with me. I think you've got a great head on your shoulders, and like you're very clear-eyed. That's what I wanted to say. You're very clear-eyed about your analysis. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on again. I wouldn't say that the Iran war is the thing that is the downfall of the American hegemony. I would say that Donald Trump himself is the downfall. And I know that sounds like super almost TDS-like, but not only is there not like a single thing that I can think of outside of, Trump having the NATO members spend their money. I can't think of a single thing he's done that's actually beneficial to our allies or has helped us gain allies or has helped us with our allies, that has helped us in, gain respect in the world, pretty much across the board. And for one of the most important moments to me, like if I think that there is a moment that people would look back on, I feel like it might seem like a small moment to most people, but the threats to take over Greenland, I feel like that was it. Like that was it. If you guys watched the conference at Davos right after, every single world leader's speech was about the fact that they were moving on from America. They were done with the United States. Numerous of them, a lot of us had said, like, I hope they can all just hold off until we can get somebody back with brains in the White House. But most of them said, yeah, we can't keep doing this where like every 4 years America decides to vote on another lunatic and then we all have to suffer in the meantime. So right now we just have to completely divest and move on. And that is seemingly what they all plan on doing. It doesn't matter who we get in the next election. They're all going to be afraid of what comes next, what comes after that. And so I think that like there isn't a single moment here outside of just like the fact that Donald Trump won the election. With that said, I would also like to say that Democrats, more people identify as Democrat currently than they have since when Obama was president. The majority of people just have like a large distrust of government and dislike government overall. It doesn't seem to actually reflect much of how people feel about politics in totality, because like if the idea really was that like, oh, Democrats, people just don't like Trump. It's not that they actually think the Democrats are all that better.
Republicans are still pretty staunchly Republican or supportive of the Republican Party.
Except for Tucker Carlson, who apparently left the Republican Party today.
Yeah. Now there are sycophants, right? But like in terms of like polling for Democrats, like the Democratic Party
what do you mean?
Amongst
the
Democrats?
Approval rating of Republicans is the same as the Democrats. There's no difference. They both have the same approval ratings. I don't know what you mean by that.
Are we talking about within party approval rating or general?
Yeah,
like Democrats see the party as weak and feeble. Like I don't really see where you're getting like this big Democrat. We let Counter do his thing.
I just said, after. Yeah, people are, as I said, people are like they are just they don't like government. But it doesn't seem to reflect much outside of that because, yes, the Republican Party has the same approval ratings as the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party is obviously drastically different from the Republican Party, yet there isn't a much difference in polling because, yeah, people just don't like politicians right now. There's a populist, bent to America right now. And it's just, it just seems to be more about aesthetics than anything else. But when you look at the amount of people who are voting, like that the voting continues to go up. We just had like the two highest turnouts in my lifetime and two of the highest turnouts in American history over the last two elections. It doesn't seem like people are becoming like disillusioned with American politics, or that they actually don't think the voting matters, or that there's that big of a difference, or that it's just they just don't like Donald Trump. They don't actually think Democrats are all that much better. No, they seem to think that there's a pretty massive difference, and especially in the midterm.
Trump was one of those
turnouts.
Donald Trump was on the ballot for the major elections, and then even for the mid elections, kind of a referendum on Donald Trump. So, I mean, I don't know. I hear what you're saying. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what it'll be after Donald Trump. I don't know. I don't know what turnout will be. Maybe it'll be just as high. Maybe we'll continue that trend. But America after Donald Trump is going to be something. Let's go to finally let's go to our friend Counterpoints. I was also very happy to have you here. It was a pleasant surprise. And it was a lot of fun as always. Every time, even when we're fighting, it's a lot of fun.
No, I love hanging out when I can. Obviously, life has been hectic recently, but I'm surviving. I'm pushing through. So, if you liked anything that I had to say, check out Counterpoints Politics. That's my channel where I post my VODs and I stream there on Tuesdays. I'm also live on Valor Media Network, VALOR Media Common Spelling Network, Common Spelling, 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. My main channels my main channel is Counterpoints 40K, where I break down the wonderful world of science, fantasy, Warhammer. But I also started up Counterpoint Star Wars and Counterpoint Sci-Fi, and I'm happy to report that Sci-Fi got a little bit of a bump recently, where some people found my Expanse content. So I'm starting to see the Green Arrow go in the right direction. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Green Arrow, just like GDP.
Yeah. It's good. It's good when you see one video go squiggly, and then you start seeing the other ones going squiggly with it. That's always fun. So hopefully they're newer channels, but I've been grinding on them and I'm hoping that they're going someplace. So we'll see. But in reference to the thing that Prime said, are we on the cusp of the American Empire falling? Cicero and Cato, weirdly enough, two Romans that lived like a century apart, I think, they both predicted the downfall of the Roman Empire. And I think like one of them was 200 years off and one of them was 300 years off. And so, we can see that obviously like the United States of America, it's a military superpower, it's an economic superpower, it's a diplomatic superpower. But at the same time, like this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you hate liberalism, if you hate mixed economy capitalism, if you want to see its downfall, then you're going to be part of the thing that crashes the empire eventually. Whereas if you actually look at the wealth and prosperity, and if you look at life expectancy, on its little graph going squiggly up at a 45-degree angle, if you see, the GDP per capita of almost every developing nation on the planet going up, there's a tons of like even the modern American grocery store is a fucking logistical miracle that we take for granted on a daily basis. The fact that I can get grapes and avocados and onions and fennel and all this bullshit year round, it's a modern logistical miracle that 150 years ago, our ancestors would have given their fucking left testicles for. So appreciate what you have, enjoy what you have. Don't predict the fall 200 to 300 years early. And mixed economy capitalism is based, as is American imperialism. So
left testicles are indeed the currency needed to buy American groceries, indeed. But
betting on the day for sure.
Yeah, I don't think America has to be an empire, though. That's the difference.
Where do you think we get our seasonal, out of season avocados and pears and apricots?
Okay, let me make it serious. Simple. If it costs me I'll see it in avocados, right? And in return, I get not dead Iranian kids. Yeah, I'll take that every time.
Well, the avocados are coming from Mexico, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can have global logistics without the U.S.
In order to not have dead Iranian kids, you would have to the United States would have to give up like substantial control over the petroleum market, and I don't think we're doing that anytime soon.
Okay, well, I mean, yes, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think
invest in renewables.
I think it's easy
green energy. I've been saying it all day, bro.
It's okay. Slaughtering children across the world, brown children across the world, is an acceptable cost, right? For the American way of life. If that's the American, I want none out of it. I want none out of it. If inherently, apparently to you, because it means that has to happen. Now, I don't believe that has to be the case, right? Yes, there will be some sacrifice. You're correct in that, right? That like as we live now, it can't be the same, right? If America has a smaller footprint, if it can't just go over to a country, knock it over whenever they don't want to do what we tell them to do, right? Or be able to impose our laws, our regulations, right? Our world order on them. True, yes, we'd lose something, but we'd also gain not dead children. And I'll take that deal any day. Just like I wouldn't want anything to happen to Connor's kids, right? I would fight for them. I fight for those kids too.
Well,
can you define imperialism for me real quick?
Sorry, what's that?
I want the definition of empire/imperialism defined. So I
do have to bounce, guys.
Before you guys.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Starting a new panel.
No.
Just real quick,
I'm supposed to be on a call soon, anyways. I mean, my definition of empire would probably be like foreign power projection and having like vassal states and stuff. Like, so for instance, like I think Europe, as much as they are like independent sovereign nations, there's some level of like vassal deference that they have to pay to America due to like military and economic interest. So it's not as bad as like Rome or the British Empire, but it's still quite internationally influential.
This is a neo-empire. Yeah, this is a different sort of empire. We don't have the whole territory for it to be an empire. Yeah. But quickly, just to counterpoint, I would love to talk to you about Star Wars. I would love to.
DM me. I'm live 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every single day.
I got you.
And weekends.
You've never seen it, but like I got like literally a stack of Star Wars books that I've been collecting for years. Not since like the Disney revamp. I stopped after that, honestly. But like I was deep into the EU, right? And I've loved it the whole time. But again, before the revamp. And
I'm breaking down every piece of visual Star Wars media in chronological order, except for Obi-Wan. Because it was very mid.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to do that. And also sci-fi in general. You were talking about The Expanse. I love the show. I didn't read the books. But I love the show. I love sci-fi. Like I would love to collab on that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Whenever that would be good for you.
DM me. We'll pick a date.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. And Riddell, my more or less what Connor said is my definition of imperialism. But I'll let you guys go. This has been fantastic. Also, I was sitting here like the entire time. I didn't pick a channel to raid. You would think I would have done that.
Night, guys.
Bye.
You are new to streaming. I'll forgive it.
Yeah. I will. Okay. I'll accept that. I will raid. There's two women. They have like cat ears or something, and they're like in bras or something. That seems good. Yeah.
Meow mommy in the chat. Meow mommy in the chat.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in now.
And then ask them to define imperialism
and empire. It, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one. I'm gonna read them as soon as the raid now. Okay, off they go. But yeah, this is fantastic, guys. I will. Oh, they're already gone.
Have a good one, Prime.
Have a good one, buddy. Bye.